Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live on a sensational Saturday night, and we are ready to go as we bring you AEW Collision and maybe a little bit of some other stuff. But we got lots to talk about, lots to get into here at the Wrestling for Life Network. Me and that pretty face will have all the reaction to all the action here tonight. So make sure you're strapped in and strapped on and you're ready to go. Grab your snacks, grab your feel good. It's going to be a fun one, folks. Let's go. Ding, ding, we are back and at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. We're looking forward to tonight's festivities. Got a lot to jump into with AEW Collision here tonight. A full card full of intrigue, perhaps. Maybe, maybe not. But we're definitely going to get some BCC taking on CMLL in this ongoing grudge match. Just added Daniel Garcia taking on Shane Taylor and so much more. A couple ladies matches on the docket. So myself and this man are going to get into all the action tonight. I hope everyone out there is happy, healthy, and safe. I will remind you to click like, click subscribe. And if you're feeling froggy, click share. We greatly appreciate it. And, you know, it's the best thing you could do for us. Share a little love, share a little wrestling. But without further ado, I am Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the Every Night Delight KJ White. I am Big Nick. And you remember when Collision actually felt like a breath of fresh air amongst AEW, something different than Dynamite instead of now we just have the Alphabet Wars?
Yeah, there was definitely a buzz about this show once upon a time. And I hate to admit it, folks, like there's not a lot of vibe going into this one here tonight. Not a lot of buzz, not a lot of excitement. It's unfortunate. I think with so much big things going on around it, it's kind of swallowed up on a Saturday night here where, yeah, I mean, we'll see what this match, you know, Star Jr. and his friend are going to take on. Have you seen the new scar on Villain Claudio? Got a big gash. He's got a big scratch on his face. So
do you expect me to sell, Mr. Claudio? No, Mr. Moxley. I expect you to bleed.
I expect you to bleed. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting with that. Like I said, they added Daniel Garcia and Shane Taylor. I found that a little strange. Shane Taylor seemed like he was building up a feud with Moxley and the BCC, which I would almost prefer. Danny's been hanging out with FTR, so I don't know where that is. We'll find out, folks. We'll find out together.
Well, we're watching also. We're going to be watching GCW as well. The second night of the J-Cup. There's been actually a lot of independent wrestling news and everything, and that's 100% what Collision at this point feels like. Is when we watch a Wrestling Revolver, when we watch House of Glory, those shows half the time almost feel like they even have more story than AEW does lately going into it. Like the most that we have going into tonight for Collision is, like I said, the alphabet wars between CMLL and the BCC.
Right. I mean, again,
you know me, 1, 2, 3, ABC, RSPCT.
Right. And again, we were really optimistic about Collision. We thought a Saturday night show was a bad idea for Tony Khan, that he was still working on perfecting a Wednesday show and a Friday show. And adding a third show was probably not the best of strategies. Tony, being Tony, did it anyway, gave it to Punk. Punk's no longer there. We were hopeful that maybe there'd be some life in this show beyond Punk, and it has just gone downhill. And to your point, it becomes more and more indie-ish. No real storylines, no real angles. Just throw some people in a ring and let's ding ding.
Yeah, Collision used to have that. However you wanted to view it, I thought it had more of a sporty presentation like we get now with WWE, but it felt different than Dynamite, at least. Now this has fallen back into how Rampage was, how Dark and Dark Elevation were, to where they're just Dynamite light, that they've now been consumed by that across the board. There's no differentiation between the two. Like, we watched SmackDown last night. I would say SmackDown generally feels different to an extent than Monday Night Raw. Might be a little different, but at least different.
Yeah, and we can talk about that actually, because I think more people are going to be interested in that thought as well. SmackDown last night, I saw a lot of people after the fact talk. The wrestling fans kill me because it's a lot of, well, how am I supposed to get into this when so and so wasn't even supposed to be on SmackDown? He's a Raw talent. Like, I don't understand what they're doing. Like, they just make up what are we doing, wrestling fans? Please help me.
If that's what you're upset about, I hope you didn't pull your back out reaching for that whole thing to be mad about, because you're just searching for something at that point. Like, they explained it to you. And honestly, I think we even kind of saw it. It's especially though with SmackDown, with the whole Triple H pretty much kind of tongue-in-cheek shooting at The Rock there and leaning in to what the internet says. So I guess maybe it's not a bad thing that people are that fired up about it, but yeah. Go ahead.
No, it just kind of makes me scratch my head of like, I mean, at least this time they explained it. Other times they just haven't said anything. They just do it. This time there's an explanation. We're getting LA Knight versus Ivar on Monday. Monday Night Raw's got, I think, 6 matches announced. Like, it's looking like it's going to be a really good Monday night. JD McDonough taking on R-Truth, of course. Run that back up. And then, of course, the 6-man tag, Jey Uso with the New Day taking on the Imperium. So there's a lot of intrigue going into Monday, but I'm okay with the crossover if there's a rhyme and a reason for it. And why shouldn't both brands get a chance to be in the elimination? Well, Logan Paul's in there. He's already the U.S. champion. Well, what if they put him in there to take an L so that it builds a storyline for his upcoming WrestleMania match? Maybe.
Well, and even then, he's still got to qualify. Like, that's the thing is, the biggest thing with this is they explained it. They justified it. They validated it. They explained it. Granted, I wish the bracket was a little easier to follow, I guess, just maybe for me.
Right?
I know, but the way they had it, if they followed the visual they put up, it would have been perfect.
Right.
But
they didn't connect the dots.
That's neither here nor there, but at least they threw the dots out there.
Right. Well, let's quickly say hello to the people on this lovely Saturday night. Once again, I hope everyone's having a wonderful weekend out there. I hope everyone's doing well. You're feeling good and you're ready for a little bit of wrestling here tonight. But Michael, good to see you. Welcome back. Money, welcome back as always. Ready for, Big E versus Paul Rudd. There you go.
Big Ed from 90
Big
Days
Ed. I said Big E. I was like, Paul Rudd would get his ass kicked.
He's comparing Ishii to Big Ed there of has no neck versus, guy who looks cool with sunglasses and a denim jacket.
Right. Damien, as always, leading the Hopium tribe. He's looking forward to some stuff. Mark Briscoe versus King. Interesting. I did not know we were getting that one, so definitely.
Yeah, I've not seen that. Oh, Brody King, Mark Briscoe versus Brody King.
All right. David, good to see you. The streaming now 8 Eastern time, 5 Pacific. Well, we are live right now. We'll put it that way. So if you're here watching us,
I appreciate you
though. What's up, big dog? How you doing? KCJ back in the house with us. Eric Davidson's with us as well. TJ, Boston, Connor, Swami, Brandon, Aaron. Who else we got? JV. How you doing? Scott, our good friend Scott. Scott's got brownie points in my book forever. You got a picture with our t-shirt and Jericho in the same place at the same time.
Hell froze over, folks. Hell froze over on the Jericho cruise.
Right? Jericho's like, oh, nice t-shirt.
If only you knew, sir. If only you knew.
Right. So, but there you go, folks. Welcome, Jason, as well. I see some people sliding in the back end here. Nick Bray. What's up? Let's hope some type of life tonight out of Collision. Yeah. So, yeah, you and I, that's the vibe we feel. Let's hope for some life, some energy.
Yeah, well, this is why we say the wrestling may suck, but we never do at all here. It's 100%. We'll make it entertaining, even though there's no stories really presented here or anything. That's the thing, is there's nothing that draws you in unless you're already a diehard AEW fan.
Yeah, but even as like a diehard AEW fan, you got to be kind of like, what are they giving me? Like,
no, because if you're a diehard AEW fan, you're like, somehow this is a dream match. I think you've just it's copium instead of hopium here.
It's something. That's another level of just, again, you're not a bad fan if you're honest about the product you're being given. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make you a shitty fan if you're like, dear TK, why should I show up on Saturday nights for your show? I don't get it.
Facts. I was
Right?
trying to think of a, dear TK, I wrote you, but you still ain't calling.
Right? Like,
You're
it's,
marking out. That's why your ratings are falling.
yeah, no shit. Like, I don't know. Like, you said some people think like, oh, these are dream. Oh, Orange Cassidy, Ishii tonight. Again, whose dreams are these?
Mike Rouse saying, I'm a diehard wrestling fan. That's the way
Yeah.
to be. Lola, sorry, Lady B, what up?
Lola said hola. No, Lady B
Lola
said
said
hola.
hola.
What's
David
going on? What's
Coffey,
going on?
what up? By the way, I appreciate all the new names and the new names that are recently new names that are still hanging around in the chat.
Yeah, come hang out. We got lots to talk about. There you go. There you go. I have no idea. What does that look like? Oh, okay. Right on.
Yeah.
I remember about a year ago, we were right here on this channel roasting the Bucks for being teens and their goofy antics. Right now, these Bucks are doing the right thing, showing everyone they heels. That's an interesting take. So you're thumbing up the Bucks. Interesting. I think the Bucks are still pretty much doing the same thing they were. And if they weren't friends with Tony Khan, we wouldn't even know their names. They'd be like someone else.
I think the Young Bucks are thumbing up each other. With that being said, but I kind of, I guess, get where he was going with that of, well, at least now they're out and outright heels, but we all kind of knew they were heels to begin with, and what they're doing now isn't good. I did at least kind of like the whole white suit idea, like coated in blood, the Matt Cardona GCW type stuff, but their backstage stuff, all the terrible, I'm Nicholas and I'm Matthew and I don't care and I'm changing the channel. That's where I feel with that.
They're not compelling.
Yeah, it's go away heat more than I can't wait to see these guys get their ass beat heat.
Now they finally did. I gave them some points on Wednesday because at least they came out and they're trying to create some type of rivalry. But as much as people were mad about how dare The Rock step into WrestleMania and take on Roman, I still feel the same way about the Bucks. How dare they step in and take anybody's spot against Sting? How dare they? But they were picked, KJ. I don't care. It feels like it's set up. Feels like they knew that they had already sold 16,000 tickets. It feels like they're put in a favorable spot because of who they are and who they're friends with. I don't think this is the best for business. I don't think it's the best booking decision. And a Sting Darby, Young Bucks, shit everywhere, run around, tag team match to say goodbye to Sting, it doesn't float my boat.
Yeah, it's not a great send-off. It's not anything that you're compelled to watch that match. And I think it's much more a way to transition the belts from Ricky Starks and Big Bill, W. Morrissey, who are, I would say, clearly out of there once their contracts are up, to now the Young Bucks can have the belts and they can go full Rock-ish, still though from like the 1990s type heel.
Well, yeah, you'd want a little more energy now. I believe we're about to get the start of this show in
yes,
if
I have already the video package starting off Collision right now, which by the way, we are getting Purrazzo versus Kiera Hogan, which should be a good match. And I've also got the start of GCW as well.
Yeah, we'll see how everything plays out here tonight, folks. But we will try and keep you up to date on everything that's going on. Keep the chat going. What is on your wrestling mind? What are you guys feeling? Are you excited about things that we're getting on Collision? Are you into some of the story angle, whatever you think you're getting? You know, are certain matches jumping off the page for you? I don't know.
Are you like JV? Is there things we're missing, like when it comes to like the Bucks storyline or anything like that, that we're, ignorant to or anything? What you feeling? What you got?
KJ and Nick picks for tomorrow's Super Bowl. I took the night off, definitely pumped for it. Yeah, we will be here live for our annual Super Bowl party, folks. It's going to be a fun one. We're looking forward to it. And I'm still on that Niners train. I cannot put up with Casey. Sorry.
I'll go with the tribal chiefs there. At least
Yeah.
then my Buffalo Bills can say we lost to the Super Bowl champions. As I've already got Moxley and Claudio, the BCC, coming out here. So we're starting the night off with the main match that they've advertised.
Yeah, you're again. They have been. We talked about this Wednesday, working backwards on your programming, and I don't always get it. Like the big marquee matchup you're advertising. Well, if you give it to me early, if you put the milk at the front of the store, I don't necessarily have to peruse through some aisles to get there.
But is this, though, to try and keep you in the door here of that carryover audience? Because especially when they're on Wednesdays and they're trying to carry over the Big Bang into the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, then I think that's what more the objective here, I feel, because otherwise it doesn't fully make sense. Like what I can look through the card, but I don't know what else would be the main event tonight.
Right. Canada's having trouble with AEW Collision at the moment.
I know now what's going to be the main event is Cassidy versus Ishii.
Yes.
At least that's a title fight main event. And so you get,
fair enough.
Yeah, you get a pass.
Right. But yeah, we'll see how that match goes. I mean, I again, stylistically on paper, the idea that, we're going to get Orange Cassidy taking on Ishii, I don't get it. They're currently tied up in a storyline. Like if Cassidy was going to take on maybe Taven or maybe Bennett or something that ties into the little bit of story they've had for OC as of, the last couple of weeks, I'm in for that. That'd be a better match.
Something that's been an issue across the board in pro wrestling of somebody who could at least maybe potentially believably win the match. Does anyone think that Ishii, especially being a guy who doesn't work for the company, is going to win the international championship? I think not.
Right. Yep. Yeah. If you're, again, if it's just a series of moves, what's the point?
Well, it's going to be more a series of chops.
Yeah, definitely.
So I've got Star Junior and I don't even know if I want to attempt
Estranja.
Asphyxiation. Estranja. I don't know.
Esfinge. I have no idea.
Yeah. ESFINGE. You figure it out, folks, because we can't.
I think JV knows a little Spanish. Help us out.
Oh, right. Translation.
Or at least pretends to.
Right. As I've also got Joey Janela and Alex Price so far out on GCW.
There you go. There you go. Brandon's leaning towards the Niner. Anyone but the Chiefs, says JV. I got the Chiefs. I got the 49ers, says Vance. Wings are being delivered. Yeah, absolutely, my guy.
100%. I already got my menu already teed up in my head for about 2 days now.
Wild thing. Oh, over it. He needs a new
Your matches stink. So
Nick, you're not ignorant. He's just JV's trying to find the positive. I give them points for at least coming. The only thing, there's actually a couple things, but again, them coming out and jumping. It's just, to me, it was predictable. But Sting's kids should not have been involved, because the minute the Young Bucks rolled in the ring and jumped Sting and Darby, his kids were big enough to pick up the fucking Young Bucks and snap them in half. They should have not
heels in the ring looked like children,
right? But I mean, you would have probably got more heat if Sting's kids stayed at ringside. The Young Bucks jumped in, landed a few shots, and then the kids ran in and they skirted out to avoid any conflict.
Well, I know I said instead of Darby getting gigged and everything like that and getting color, if it was Sting, what if it was Sting's kids that they did that? You had the Young Bucks jump them from behind with bats, and you can't do nothing because they're the bosses, and their whole suits and everything are all covered in your kids' blood, Sting. Now you should be seeing, red in the eyes here. You should just be on beast mode.
Yeah, and again, I guess they're trying to create some animosity. I wish the interviews they had done last week and such would have lent to that. But it is what it is. It's a bit of a hodgepodge mess, and I'm a little jaded about the booking in general. If you guys want to give us a prediction on CMLL taking on the BCC, let us know. And who are you taking between Janela and Price? I'm going to take Price because I can't do anything with Janela.
Nothing with Jelly. I'll take Janela.
Ew.
I'll take the BCC for this one. Granted, I know this is going to end up to where we have the BCC showing up in Mexico,
right? I feel like this is leading towards like an international blood and guts.
Yeah, something like that.
Spike Dudley's tougher than Moxley. Oh, it was more of a pop-up Enziguri.
Yeah.
And I'm not taking anything away from Star or Esfingy. I'm not taking anything away from them.
Just his name. Maybe the cat ears on his mask, but yeah.
Oh, the BCC with the walk-off. It's weird, Nick, that you have these wrestlers invading AEW, but the AEW wrestlers are running the heel vibe, right? Like you just had the two luchadors going for a tope, and it's the BCC doing the walk-off. It's the BCC composing themselves. They're approaching this as if they are heels, which they technically have been. To me, that doesn't make sense in this angle at all.
I don't think any of this angle makes sense at all outside of just, hey, we're partners with CMLL. And that's why I find this the funniest, because you're almost more against it than I am. And between the two of us on the channel, you're the lucha guy. You're the one that likes that kind of style. And these matches have been insufferable, especially you've been here every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And there's been no rhyme or reason to it. Like, these are worse than we were joking about when Commander was getting booked on every match or Vikingo was booked in every match. Mm-hmm. Now you've got a whole faction that makes no sense being here.
Yeah, the cruiserweight division is running wild on AEW.
Yeah, with no cruiserweight belt.
So
that's the last thing they need. I shouldn't have said that out loud. We don't need another belt, Tony.
What about big rumors about the WWE about to introduce a mid-card ladies belt?
They should.
But the women's IC title.
Well, you mentioned, I think it might have been last night, about how we could see a lot of women's matches just across the board over the 2 nights of WrestleMania. And especially if you introduce a belt like that. And I know Anthony was hesitant about Trinity, Naomi coming back to WWE. Natalia's getting more love, it seems like, recently, and all of that. There's a lot of women that aren't going to be in main title feuds, so they can still add depth to that roster and show the depth that they have.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think there's definitely a shit ton of talent there. I think if Tony Khan could focus on AEW specific championships, son of a bitch, and they kind of get rid of the other championships that continually appear on the show, that and then and only then could you even consider another championship. The TBS title's irrelevant. The TNT title was hot for a minute, irrelevant again. The IC title, I don't think anybody gives a shit about. Tag titles are MIA.
Tony Khan's gone fully into booking like a guy on universe mode or a guy with an E-Fed type shit of, you just have so many titles, you've forgotten about half of them. And the ones that you do remember, you can't book right.
Kill the FTW title already. Yeah, give Hook if Hook is this big star that everyone believes he is, give him the IC title. Right? Like, this has become the Orange Cassidy title, where I like to call it the spot booking title, where he continually gets put in matchups that don't really matter. Now, Roddy's become a little bit the exception. That's why I really don't want this match tonight with Ishii. I'd rather he was fighting somebody from the Undisputed Kingdom tonight.
It is the Tony Khan loves you belt. That's really what it is, because think about it. It's gone pretty much just from Orange Cassidy to Moxley for a half second and then back to Orange Cassidy.
There you go. No AEW next Saturday, NBA All-Star game. Now, are they moving it? Is it preempted? We might have a Saturday night off.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. But speaking of Tony Khan, and we want Cody in AEW saying, and give it to Jade Cargill for the women's mid-card title that we were talking about in WWE.
But, I mean, there's a lot of women there that are going to want to stake a claim to that first.
Fair enough. Connor's saying, I don't even know who's the TNT champion. Christian. At least know Christian. Put some respect on that turtleneck's name.
Yeah, but has that not faded into nothing right now? It's irrelevant right now.
Little bit. Yeah. Shit. Again, we said this on Wednesday. To me right now, the only thing that's prominently moving forward and cooking, because that's the hot term of wrestling for the week, is Swerve and Hangman. That's the only thing that AEW still has going that's eye-catching.
Yeah, fair enough. Like the Trios Championship has been mixed up in this super group, and we're not getting a whole lot of like really cool trios matches. The tag team division's a shit show. I don't know, man. I don't know. What are we going to do? We got to put some importance on these titles.
Especially with having so many. But again, this goes back to like what we're saying is I do still have, as I'm in picture on Collision, and I've got Janela and Price just throwing hands back and forth here. But AEW, especially outside of Dynamite, is feeling more and more like an independent show that it's booked just for here's some cool matches versus any bit of story, any bit of continuity. And that's a slippery slope, especially when your ratings are going down, your attendance is going down. Yes, the pre-sales for big business went through the roof. And hopefully that's a great sign. Hopefully. But there's a lot of smoke going on right now.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, again, like coming into tonight, you and I cover all the wrestling that we humanly possibly can. And we looked at each other and you're like, you excited for this one? And I'm like, I don't know. Should I be? Like this match rolling on, by the way, as we're going back and forth, all four men running around.
Well, I'm going to try, and I think somehow get into the mind of Tony Khan of just viewing this much like how we've got GCW on the other side of just taking the match as there is no story. This has no continuity behind this. Just how is the in-ring action and nothing beyond that, which is at times mind-numbing, but we'll see how it goes.
And we got Esfenia with
Esfenia. Gotta drop toe hold.
I heard it, and then you sang it. It was perfect.
Right. I'm normally good at that. I'm terrible at singing, but I normally am good at just interrupting things with songs.
Preach. Star Junior flying around now.
As I've got elbows back and forth. Has Alex Price always just had his shoulder in a fucking sling here? Like, does this man have constant, persistent shoulder injuries?
I feel like it's been in that brace for 2 years.
A wee bit now here. Oh! Non-Serenia out here with the splash for a 2 count here.
The Pharaoh, that's way better. That's way better. Thank you.
That's what they're calling him? He's supposed to be the Pharaoh?
The Pharaoh. Esfenia.
Not the Pharaoh. Esfenia.
Oh, my. I told you, folks. We'll find something to talk about.
Right. Freebird. What's the one thing you don't yell out at a bar, especially when you have a live band? Freebird!
Freebird!
That boot hit Mox in the face. Has Mox have color? I haven't seen it yet.
I don't know, but it actually made him sell something. He's probably pissed off. How dare you make me bleed my own blood?
No one makes me bleed. Well, everyone makes me bleed my own blood. No one makes me
right. Mox back up. But, yeah. We got some chops. No, he's just slapping the man around.
Right. Oh, Trey, what up? Esfinja. What does that mean? Oh, Esfinge is Sphinx in Spanish.
Yeah, he's the Pharaoh. I'm following along.
And then fans following up with Google it if you want more info. Welcome to Hooked on Phonics with the Wrestling for Life Network, or more Hooked on Spanish.
We're getting a back and forth exchange. Pharaoh lands a big knee. Star Jr. with a blind tag, and Moxley jumps out of the way, and Claudio with the save.
Moxley doing his best with Trick Williams.
A
gorilla press into a cutter. Why do I feel like I've seen that recently?
I don't know, but it looked good. I'll give him credit on that one.
Right. Kevin, what up? Daniel, what up? Because not under contract, y'all are having another conversation. I'm gonna just start calling this man Pharaoh though from now on.
Yeah, the Sphinx, the Pharaoh, whatever.
Hey, so he's Cody Rhodes' dog, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh, power bomb. Oh, roll up. No, roll through. This literally, listen, I want to cheer, but it literally looks like a practice match. Like they're like walking between moves. They're like, oh, instant tap out. Moxley like not, it looks like a dude beating up his little brother. Look, gets up, flips the bird. We're done. Can we leave now? Where's my check, Tony? Moxley drives me up the fucking wall, man.
Hey, but he didn't bleed in this match. I mean, he might have got a little ding there, but he's got no real. He's not got a crimson mask. But yeah, this is.
So,
go ahead.
Mystico beat Evan Bourne last night, but Wednesday, like we already had Danielson beat Chichichuro. We had the match, like so. If the CMLL guys just came in to lose a bunch of matches, it's hard to really get into a rivalry.
It's as I've said it before, we've seen it recently, even with Queen Aminata. I'm amazed. Thankfully, we haven't seen it with Deonna Purrazzo yet. It's still welcome to AEW. You go at the car wash of just now you just eat nothing but L's. So Moxley cutting a promo saying, "We'll fight you anywhere else in the world you want."
Chest cut open?
Yeah, I thought that was the scar that you were talking about.
Oh, he had a picture online that he had a scratch on his eye. But
I just see him with a shiner. Hold the phone.
Wow, what the fudge? FTR in the house, top guys coming out to address. So Moxley and the BCC are in this heated feud with the Intruders, and I guess that's over with now after wiping.
It was never heated. You shouldn't have used the term heated. I was lukewarm at best. Lukewarm.
Yeah, it might have been.
Hot pocket hot. That's what it was.
Yeah,
it looked steamy on the outside, dead cold in the center.
Yeah, piss spot in the pool hot.
Right.
Well, at least FTR showed up to actually be in a tag team match.
But
here we go.
Actually seem like a tag team to you?
Well, they're probably #1 ranked on the fucking charts right now. Big win tonight. I guess all wins count too, even if you beat up people from other companies.
Well, yeah. Well, who was it that said that like Ring of Honor matches count, like all this shit? As hey, at least though we've got refs and we've got officials and we've got security out here trying to pull these people apart. Everybody's just grabbing at the waist of Dax there, or Cash, so he doesn't, he doesn't back that thing out there or nothing.
Let's go. All right, so out of nowhere, these guys that never interact went from we haven't really spoken at all to we can't pull them apart. This escalated quickly, my friend.
And no real words, no real nothing. Nope. That just kind of walk out and just have at it.
Just on site, you're dead.
And can anyone name anybody that was actually like part of like the backstage or anything in that pull apart? Because I feel like they were all probably actually employed by Tony, but they're all never getting any sort of TV time.
Yeah, right. As we go to commercial break, folks, we thank you for being here on a Saturday night. The first match is in the books. But Damien asking, can we do Wrestling Revolver next Saturday? So on our schedule, our internal schedule, next Saturday is Wrestling Revolver. What a show. For those who do not follow all the wrestling, we got Chris Bay taking on Leo Rush. The Grizzled Young Vets are going to take on Lance Archer and Alex, not Alex Kane. Yeah, Monster Sauce. Masha Slamovich, not Alex Kane. Sorry, my bad. Masha Slamovich taking on Marina Shafir. The Rascals are going to take on Los Desperados. And our buddy Elijah, and Mansoor are slated to be on the card.
It's going to be Mansour.
Mansour in the house.
But so Alex Price won on GCW, and now I have, Christ, I already forgot man's name here. Matt Rakowski, something like that. He came out here with the discount Braun Breaker like wolf hat.
Wolf Dogs 2.0.
Right. Bill Notreve, I like that name. It's long-term storytelling. Remember that one obscure moment 3 years ago on AEW Dark? Yeah, that's AEW's long-term storytelling. Is we just so happened to fucking fall into this shit.
Yeah, pop-up book storytelling, guys. That's that's all of a sudden it just pops up and that's it. One page, you turn the next page, we're on to a new story. So yeah, out of left field, the FTR is in a blood feud with the BCC. So there we go.
Sean, what up? Mick, what up? What?
Oh, the Leafs scored.
Oh, I thought you were cheering for my girl Masha coming out here.
Masha, let's go.
Sean, what up? The Real Why, where do you even watch GCW? On Triller TV, which was formerly Fight.
Triller Night.
Yeah, I'm amazed like fucking Logan Paul doesn't own it or something.
Right. Are we done with the CMLL bullshit? I think that's enough. I'm guessing like they just got beat by everybody. Like, and now the BCC has moved on to another rivalry apparently. So is the invasion over?
No, because we're still going to probably still have another show in Mexico and all of that. And that'll be probably when the BCC loses, and it'll just carry on till infinity and beyond because Tony Khan thinks everyone loves this for some reason.
Carry on my wayward son. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little bit perplexed. And again, this kind of like FTR showing up. Again, I'm all for FTR and BCC. I mean, Claudio and Mox having a really good tag team match. I'm all for it. It just came out of left field and escalated super fast.
Right.
But here comes that's his whole, wow, look at his video now. Daniel Garcia.
He's literally, all he's missing is like the headband and the tank top, and it's just like, do the muscle man dance.
I was going to say, he's like low rent Fandango.
Yeah. When you buy fucking wish.com Fandango and said from Temu.
Who's walking? Oh, his commentator's coming down to the ring as well. Our friend Coke.
Yeah, Daddy Magic, Matt Maynard out here. Like, it's so crazy to me because there's talent there. Even with Daddy Magic there, all of that. There's a ton of talent, a ton of potential. And they're just in the most loser, bullshit, non-entertaining, cringe, like story angle gimmick of all time. They're out. This is it. Man's Disco Inferno.
Yeah,
here.
And here comes Shane Taylor. You're not wrong at all, Nick. And that, I think, again, I got nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with Daniel Garcia per se, but there's so much better talent in AEW that could use the love that Daniel's getting.
Well, a guy who could use it is Shane Taylor, 100%.
Yeah.
I would just say book Garcia differently. Like back when he was trying to almost going to be in the BCC and he was actually trying to be halfway legitimately serious outside of the Jericho Appreciation Society. That was good. This hip thrusting bullshit is just cool. It's getting over like fucking Fortnite. It's for children.
Mm-hmm. Is Masha signed with AEW? No, she is not. She is an independent worker. I don't know what her contract status with TNA is, but she's definitely in some type of deal with TNA right now.
Right. But as
there
I've
you
got
go.
Taylor out here, sorry.
Garcia's Alex Wright's lost love child. That's trying to get his father's
Fun
attention.
boy, yeah. I'm Alex Wright, yeah. It's amazing. It's fantastic. But Shane Taylor needs a lot more love than what he's gotten since he's signed with AEW. Remember when he was supposed to be, when he was involved with Keith Lee, when Keith Lee was actually getting halfway a push to and everything?
Yeah. I love Shane Taylor. I think he's great. I think, again, a show that could use more personalities, not just wrestlers. Shane Taylor brings personality. He's not your typical wrestler, but man, can he go? But man, you give him that microphone and you let him be the head of his own faction, which he is, and you let them run amok on the show. It works. It could work really well.
I'll give Shane Taylor all of his flowers with this. Of him and Shane Taylor Promotions was what kept Ring of Honor afloat to the point to where it felt like a viable option and everything when Tony Khan bought it.
Yeah, I mean, right down to the wire, right down to the very late days of Ring of Honor. Shane Taylor was still slugging along. He never gave up.
Well, and not even just slugging along. He was the thing that was relevant there. He was what still drew your eye and still made it credible and valuable.
Yeah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will take a prediction on this one. Are you taking Danny? Are you taking Shane? And I'm taking Daniel Garcia because he's Tony's new favorite toy.
I just bigged up the man, so I'll take Shane Taylor.
There you go. Dun, dun, dun. This is a long-winded one, but imagine Daniel Garcia sitting on Maury Povich. Alex Wright and Disco Inferno on stage. Test comes out. You are the father.
You are both the father.
Let's go.
Disco No, actually, you are not the father. The father is Disco Stew.
There you go. Where's Miro? House of Black, Christian. Christian's been MIA. I wonder if he's healing or nursing an injury or
Shane Taylor just doing the Daniel Garcia dance right there. Just
big old man.
There ain't nothing wrong.
There's a lot wrong. Miro's doing effectively collecting a paycheck. House of Black were involved in a bit of a rivalry with FTR and Danny, but that has been put to bed as the House of Black are not good enough to beat those three, and we've all just moved on a week later.
Seriously, again, trying to follow. WWE has the problem of there's so much storyline. AEW has the problem of there's no storyline. There's just none.
The cupboards are bare.
Right.
Danny, working Shane. Did you see Mission's tweet? The one about her being frustrated, and we're going to get a new mission.
Yeah, her name is Mia Yim.
Right. Well, not according to her, which is frustrating.
We're frustrated. She's frustrated. We're frustrated.
Yeah. Apparently she took last night's loss very, she put out a little WWE exclusive of her being very angry, and we're about to get a new, maybe a heel mission.
Nah, dun. Well, I saw it somewhere, and I can't remember all the women that were allegedly leaked in it off the top of my head, but WWE, I guess, allegedly threw out pretty much the graphic for Elimination Chamber, and then really quick realized, oh shit, that tells everybody that's in the women's chamber, and then took it down.
Oh, really? I did not see that. Very interesting.
If you want to, I mean, I don't think I can show the graphic, but if you want to talk to the people here,
there you go.
I can try and find it here.
Wyatt, Mission is mid. Mission's been booked mid, but if you followed this lady's career, she can fucking go. Like, she's a person that I'd like to go to TNA. If she could go back to TNA and get in the Knockouts division and let her shine, she can wrestle, but we don't get it with WWE. So I'm hoping for better days for her. But yeah, no, she's beyond a mid talent. She can really go in the ring.
And so just looking at the blurry image again, don't credit me on this. Don't take this as factual, but this is just the rumor that I've seen going off of a blurry visual of it's Liv Morgan.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Naomi. Jade, it looks like Becky. Tiffany Stratton, and I'm missing on the last woman, respectfully.
Okay. So who was the first one? Liv?
Liv.
Okay, so Liv.
She is in a qualifying match on Monday night as well. So
yes, she is.
But
The Fed can't put on bangers like this. I really hope this is a sarcastic message.
It's Bill Beltry, so I would assume. I feel so.
And again, like, give me a banger. That's what I want. Like, you like, and I really hope that's sarcastic. But yeah, I want some bangers, Tony. If you're going to abandon the storyline approach, dude, then the matches better cook.
That's the thing is, we say, I just like the disco stew is here for you. But we'd say, or at least I've said, how it's booked like an independent show is, you're booking it more on the matchups and the talent in the ring involved versus any storyline or anything. But when we watch those independent shows, they go hell for leather and all of that because they're really trying to prove themselves and have this great match versus we'll watch a matchup that's supposed to be a dream match. Again, it's more a fever dream than a dream match, but they don't really go for, we're going to have this amazing match. Half the time it feels phoned in even.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I take bumps for a living or anything like that, but it's just not what you would expect if we're going to base it and you're going to draw people on your in-ring quality, your workhorses, your dream matches, all of that, then you've got to have them workhorse matches.
You got to burn. You got to be able to burn. And that's like, I mean, this match is going on all right, but we just said it about the last match. It felt like a practice match. It felt, if there's no emotion into it, right? Like it just felt like spring ball, Nick. Like it just, we're going through the motions.
Well, and it's so juxtaposition because I've got Masha out here in a match and you're still watching everything and the facials, the expressions, all of that, the ring psychology is there. There's neither the ring psychology or the storyline. So the work rate's really having to bear the brunt of what's going to compel you with these matches on Collision.
Yeah, and I mean, I admit right now, I think Danny and Shane are doing a pretty good job. Both guys can wrestle, but like I just said with Moxley, literally feels like if he was in we talk about Wild Thing, he is fucking Dorn. Ole, he can just play lazy shortstop.
Right.
Come on, Dorn.
This popped me here. Daniel Price saying, "No, Nick, bad Nick, stand in your corner for R. Kelly."
Yeah, we've told you before. There is something wrong with a little bit of his.
Yeah. You can have that. But so Masha picks up the win with a rear naked choke. The Kata Hajime.
There you go. She's a beast. She's gonna be hard to knock off here tonight.
Right. Becky, Liv, Jade, Naomi, Tiffany, and Zoe Starks.
I guess that's JV's prediction for the battle.
Could be, or he could just be literally because, like I said, there was the one woman that I couldn't make out who it was in the like I said, the blurry deleted graphic, so that could be Zoe.
Touche.
Tabernacle. So on the bracket, we've got Sasuke taking on Nick Wayne. We've got Jordan Oliver versus Myron Reed. And now we've gotten to the semifinals of Masha Slamovich versus Alex Price on the other side.
There you go. Alex Price, you need to run, buddy. Run.
Well, we've got, Christian's favorite son here, Nick Wayne, just still murdering it through GCW here.
Right. Well, Jordan.
And it's so funny because we've watched GCW for a while now, especially fans of it, and loved like what Blake Christian's done on GCW, but he's also signed to AEW. And the Blake Christian that you have in AEW/Ring of Honor is not
Yeah.
the reason you signed Blake Christian. What you see on GCW is the reason
Yeah.
you signed Blake Christian.
I would like to see, and again, like Ring of Honor has fallen off, which I mean is a little bit of the unfortunate thing. I truly, truly think that Tony's got to sit down and go, what could we do differently? Hiding Ring of Honor behind a paywall is probably not choice number one. And if he could just come to his senses, and if you made Rampage that Ring of Honor show and made it a destination where like the diehards of the diehards show up to watch, and you give us that traditional Ring of Honor feel that Tony promised us, people would tune in. You would get more interest than you are getting right now.
Would more people, and I know you said of it being the diehards as Garcia picks up the win, and I'm about to get Nick Wayne versus the Great Sasuke on GCW, but if you make Ring of Honor go back to that actual work rate, like we talked about, Ring of Honor style, that pure wrestling championship, all of that, and it becomes so different than what Dynamite presents, what even WWE presents. Does that start to make itself its own attraction, and maybe you would hopefully draw more fans and attention? Because right now, like we've talked about it, the presser for WrestleMania got more viewership for the whole thing than Collision gets, than Rampage gets, etc., etc.
Yeah, no, I mean that's been the hope, right? Like, I mean, if you turn it into like the NXT Black and Gold vibe, where people sought it out, Ring of Honor, like it was really hard to, if you were a fan, to find a Ring of Honor weekly show consistently. Like here in Canada, we got it at like 1 p.m. on Sundays on Fox. Like you had to seek it out, but because it was so good, you went and found it. That's what Friday night can become. As I got Brian Cage coming out next.
I've got Eddie cutting a promo here, and I want his shirt or his sweater that he's wearing here.
Yeah, Ring of Honor Rampage. I agree, Casey. 100%, my friend.
I respectfully love Eddie Kingston. Why is this interviewer? I'm terrible with her name. She looks like she's getting out straight out of a Britney Spears music video right now, like straight out of the 90s, early 2000s.
Right.
You're upset about Ava Rain's belly buttons. I'm upset with that.
And they are in Vegas tonight because there's the mascot. So the Outrunners, for the second week in a row, our friends the Outrunners are in a handicap match, which they'll lose. If you lost a hook last week, you're not beating Brian Cage this week.
I don't know. I mean, he's a little bit, he could be victim to which way did he go, George? Which way did he go?
Wow, dude.
And they get the jobber entrance of already in the ring.
Yeah.
Ah, shit.
And just listen, I know that paycheck from Tony Khan probably feels good, and I'm not about to tell anybody how to make their money. But man, if you're a tag team that really wants to get over, losing to one man every single fucking week is horrible.
If there is a tag team I feel right now that personifies do something strange for a little piece of change, it's the Outrunners. Respectfully, love you, fans. Glad you're fans of us. But yeah,
right?
that fits that description perfectly.
Yeah.
There's so much more that they could be doing, and instead, congratulations, you get to just get thrown around by the Swolverine. After
coming off losing to Hook. Oh, this is rude. And tapped out. We're done. Thank you for coming. It wasn't even a competitive handicap match.
He didn't even break a sweat with his face paint, did Brian Cage.
And on the flip side of this, Brian Cage actually gets a win in AEW.
That's his one. That's his one for the contract. That's his one.
Does that mean him and Hook are the number one contenders for the tag titles?
No, because it's a handicap match, so it's a singles thing. I gotta pull up the fucking ratings now here.
Oh wait, so they're in line for the handicap title?
I'm not going to touch that with a 39.5-foot pole, sir, because I could have said some things.
And now the Vegas mascot dancing around with Nana, and Brian Cage beats him up. What's wrong with this man?
heel turn by the mascot there. Just I'm back in the Outrunners. Oh, you lost. Big pressure. Apply. Yeah, swear. What a drive.
Turncoat quick, and Brian Cage is now beating him up. And they show the roof again. Oh, wrong camera altogether. Here comes Hook.
Do they show the roof because they can't show the crowd?
Maybe.
I feel like that's more the thing. So, wait. Oh no!
One second, we got a Hook and Brian Cage brawl.
And so you've got a grown man beating up a child.
Well, they both beat the Outrunners. That's they got to figure out who the Outrunner champion is. I told you it's now for the handicap tag match title.
Well, then I see MDB's comment. I don't want to fully click on it, but yes.
No, I can't click on that, bro. But
the Stephen Hawking Championship.
MDB gonna get me in trouble around here. Come on now.
Right. But yes, there's just why is this so competitive? This literally looks like 3 hooks with Brian Cage here. No, again, doing nothing. Not as like I think he's more a fucking snake charmer out here. He's sitting there. He got the the Vegas mascot to turn heel real quick. And we'll remember what was it, Dynamite Tour. He just sat there and did the whole dance, and he danced the energy back into Swerve to help him finish the match.
Oh my. And like I said, Swerve, we know how good Swerve is, and just make him a pure baby face and have Nana get the crowd all hyped like every other, it works. It's working. It works really well. Just get behind it and push it. You don't have to fuck around.
So I've got Roddy and the Undisputed Kingdom here. Shout out to our buddies at the DWL because Roddy and the Kingdom just look like them, I feel, respectfully. They just look like a bunch of dads that are showing up with like, if my kid doesn't win this fucking soccer game, I'm going to take you out behind the fucking gymnasium and break them kneecaps.
Right. Oh, man. But we are rolling along, folks. We were watching 2 shows at once. We thank you for being here. Remember, Super Bowl party tomorrow. Bring your snacks, feel good, be a part of all of the fun. And it should be a good time. We're going to take
Absolutely.
a little.
I'm getting an advertisement already for the Puppy Bowl.
The Puppy Bowl.
And no, Deborah McMichael is not involved.
Oh, wow.
But so as we're in commercial, as I've got still Nick Wayne and the Great Sasuke going at it on GCW. Do you want to run through the AEW rankings? Because I didn't.
Might as well.
So which one do you want to go through first? Men's championship, tag team championships, the women's championships, or the trios championships?
Whatever.
Choose your own adventure.
Left to right.
So, well, then left starting off is, so for the men's championship, they pull up every champion from Joe, Christian, Cassidy, Kingston. Your contenders are Swerve, 1, Hangman, 2, Copeland, 3, Moxley, 4, Roderick Strong, 5. So no Jay White, no, none of that.
Say that again.
Swerve,
yeah.
Hangman,
yeah.
Copeland, Moxley, Strong.
Copeland, that's right, because Copeland's been doing the open challenges. No Copeland tonight, though.
No. So then women's championships, they're going to have Toni Storm and Julia Hart pulled up, and then your contenders are 1, Deonna Purrazzo, 2, Thunder Rosa, 3, Hikaru Shida, 4, Sky Blue, and 5, Maria May, who I think has only had 1 match.
And Shida, what has Shida done?
Well, she just had the championship not too long ago. To me, what I'm more upset about is there's no Statlander.
That's irrelevant. When was the last time Shida had a W? Who did she beat recently? Like, if it's based on your record, I don't remember a Shida win. So basically, spot 4 and 5 are 2 people with 1 win.
I would assume so. Yeah. Well, like I said, what I'm upset about is no Statlander on this list. The woman who dropped the TBS title so she could try and go towards the main women's title.
Yeah. No, that's because they got her in tag matches. So technically she doesn't have a singles victory in 2024.
Right. Well, Vince saying, where's Thunder Rosa? Well, she's normally booked on Collision, but in the rankings, she's number 2. She's not even number 1 for the title she never lost.
Nope.
She's outbeat by Deonna, who they just signed, which respected Deonna, but still.
But Deonna's only had 2 matches.
I think, honestly, Thunder Rosa's had more matches since she's been back. Granted, some were tag, some were tag. Damn it.
But isn't that where the ranking system is a little flawed at this point? Because all you need is like 2 wins to be the number 1 contender. Even Paige and Swerve are at 2 wins. 3.
To me, when it's the ranking system falls in on itself when you stay so on kayfabe to it. Like if you lose that touch of kind of it's just an anonymous, top 10, whatever. It's not has no real binding rules, restrictions, or anything. Once you really start getting into counting records and this and that, that's when you pigeonhole yourself and you back yourself more and more and more into a corner.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you get stuck when you do it wrong because, like, even in a UFC, right? Like, you have your top contender, but because of circumstance, sometimes you have a 3 versus 5 matchup or a 3 versus 1 matchup or, like a 2 versus 6, just because of the nature of their sport. So maybe they can be a little more lax, but really, so basically, by the end of the year, like right now, you need a couple wins to become number 1 contender. But by July, August, September into late 2024, if you're a newer talent or you haven't been booked much, you got to go on an 18, 20, in a row winning streak to get a shot at the title.
But if you held it as who's got momentum, all of that, which again, you said a bit, UFC even more does, of you can still only have 5 fights, but if your 5 fights are against, this guy, and that guy, who are in the top 15 or whatever, you instantly start to climb the rankings because you're knocking off guys versus you've been out there, fighting Job Squad. As we've got the Cope out right now.
Oh, I just said we weren't getting Copeland. We are getting Copeland. I lied.
It's starting to get a little
challenge Eddie Kingston.
I don't want to shit on the match, but I kind of feel like I have to. As he's out there going at Nigel, by the way, and is Copeland getting a little business in the front, party in the back here?
A little bit
more of that Canadian Niagara Falls instead of the Kentucky Waterfall.
Yeah, he's starting to look at Rusty from National Lampoons. Daniel, oh fuck, Tony Khan, I hate you so much some days. So, Adam Copeland looking for his next big rivalry. And here comes the hip thruster himself, who just beat Shane Taylor.
Jesus, tap dancing Christ.
This young, skinny little punk is just a world beater because Tony loves him.
I've said this before, and again, we try and like every wrestling promotion we watch, but this is just WCW 100% at this point. There's just so many mistakes here across the board, and now it's almost you've sunk so far down the fucking rabbit hole. You've got to take one step here to like even try and correct before you can make that big jump to fully correct. It's not just this match is like the fucking straw that broke the camel's back here. It's more it's a collection of fuck ups.
It is. And this is where people, the critics of AEW are going to say, you guys can sign Sasha Banks. You guys can sign Okada because this is what you do with the talent you have. Adam Copeland, we just forgot about the Christian rivalry, which makes no sense at all on surface. And Adam Copeland should be fighting big names, should be in main event spots. I mean, we talk about who could have fought Sting. Adam Copeland would have been a great candidate to fight Sting on his way out. But Daniel Garcia and people are out there are going to say, oh, KJ, they're putting over the young talent. They're building Danny. But again, that's great. But Daniel Garcia is getting booked better than just about anybody in your company right now. And then he's going to fizzle out and he'll be the next Dante Martin, where he went on a hot run for 2 months and then we forgot about him.
Well, and like you said, we've entirely forgot the whole Christian Edge Adam Copeland feud, which is the whole reason allegedly that Adam Copeland signed there and has now just fizzled out. And no one can say that the ending of that last match was a satisfying ending for that feud.
No, what would have been really good? Just let Edge win the belt, and then all these open challenges he's doing are for the TNT title. You put the TNT belt over, and you can take on a Daniel Garcia, and you know, he comes out, and I got ruthless aggression. They have a really good match, but Edge beats him, and we move on. But that's how you make it relevant. And then Christian, who's jaded that he lost, eventually circles back around for the payoff, the rubber match. That's what I would have done.
Oh, absolutely. And then it puts, you know, say Nick Wayne and Lucha Kane, Killswitch, Kanosaurus there into that they challenge Adam Copeland for the TNT title and just fall short. And so then Christian goes the whole Thanos, well, if you want anything done right, you've got to do it yourself. And he can even sit there and bring up, look at us, look at you and I. We're on the back nine here. You're out here still trying to think that you can hang with all these young guys. You're just waiting for you go into that whole fucking promo and angle. Like you said, nailed it. Of if Adam Copeland just they left it with him with the championship and just moved along instead of you killed Killswitch, Lucha Kane. I still hate calling him King Killswitch and the Adam Copeland Christian storyline all in the same breath.
Yeah, Copeland versus Daniel Garcia this Wednesday. Sting chose the Bucks. I don't care, Freebird. I know the marks keep saying he picked it. I don't give a shit. You need a boss to say no. Scotty, no. How about no? No. Because it wasn't the best for business. Sting and Darby versus the Bucks is not the best you could have given us. You have 16,000 people in Greensboro that paid their money, and they deserve better than Sting Darby versus the Bucks. Period.
Right. Well, and this is where this gets interesting with you, Freebird, because choose your words wisely, folks. Christian and Copeland had on Collision past 2 Saturdays, which you didn't watch it, so you're lost.
We did watch.
My guy, literally, of all the people that you're going to try and say that to, we're the wrong people to say that to, because we're the channel that covers more live wrestling than anybody else out there that does it. Literally, we're here 7 days a week. Sometimes it feels like we've crossed the, the Hulk Hogan international timeline and been out here 8 days a week covering wrestling. So to sit there and say, oh, well, you just missed it, you didn't watch it. No, there's literally, you can go back and check the files. We got the receipts.
Yeah. And again, the Edge Christian storyline has been deader
than your dead dad, says Christian.
Right? It's just, guys, and again, it's not that it's not hate, and I get it, Freebird. If you want to defend it, that's great, but there was so much meat on that bone of a lifelong rivalry that could have happened.
Sorry, side note: does Stat have a chest hat?
Maybe
that I did not know about, because I've never seen this woman out here in the crop top way back there.
Wait a minute.
I think this is, like you said, of setting up a AEW women's tag team division here. They're actually now getting along with Stokely Hathaway.
I love this. I love these two together. I love Brody King with Julia Hart.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Statlander and Willow.
No, I don't like that together. I think Stat should be.
I'm all here for
it. I think Stat needs to be at the top of the division and challenging the likes of Deonna Purrazzo, Toni Storm, Serena Deeb. She needs to be taking on the better talent. I love this. I'm talking in general. You guys are okay, very shocking behavior.
No. That's you got checked. And then, hold on. I'm sorry, sir. I wasn't familiar with your game. Yeah, don't be talking if you haven't done your homework. Wait, Stokely is their manager. Somehow, some way, they went from hating him and thinking he's like the creepy stalker to we love you.
But also, he went from running Ring of Honor. He was like the GM of Ring of Honor and became the manager of a tag team. It's the weirdest fucking transition.
What is AEW? The weirdest fucking transition
is poof.
We're speaking of the weirdest transition, he's gonna hate that I said that. That's him taking a pause for the cause. So KJ's taking a pause for the cause. I've got Brody King coming out right now, and I've got Jordan Oliver versus Myron Reed on GCW, which, goddamn, this is going to be two fantastic matches side by side here of Mark Briscoe versus Brody King. This, to me, are two guys that, regardless of how they're booked, whether properly or improperly when it comes to AEW, are going to have the best match on the card, are going to fully give it their all. And like I said, if you were watching it, this is an independent show. Like if it wasn't AEW, if this was the GCW card right now, if this was Wrestle Revolver, if this was, because we've got Defy and Progress that are teaming up together, if this was that right now, Brody King and Mark Briscoe would be a fantastic match, and they make sure that they deliver a fantastic match, regardless of story going in. So 100%, if you haven't done so, let me know who you're taking for that match, because that's going to be fantastic. As I've also got Jordan Oliver, the winner of last year's J-Cup, taking on Myron Reed right now. So let me know who you're taking for that match if you're watching GCW as well here. I'm going to go Briscoe and Oliver. As Matt's Tubes of You, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. The Sting Derby versus Bucks last match serves the Bucks more than Sting. Facts. Wouldn't be surprised if Sting at this point is just like, just get me out of here. Well, it's so interesting that on one hand you get the narrative of, well, Sting asked for this match, but that didn't come out until, well, granted, when they announced it is when he got the backlash, but you didn't have that story until, everybody was mad about it, as Brody King just getting border tossing Mark Briscoe here. But Cannonball, to me, that match is fully a way to transition the belts off of Starks and Big Bill onto the Bucks without them having to take a loss, and also, well, hey, we'll make it interesting because it's going to be Sting's last match, because Sting allegedly, just as much as, he wanted a tag match, he also didn't want to be champion. So why are we following his, demands on one thing but not on the other? Wonder why. Because one fits what they want to do and the other doesn't. As King for the W, King for the win. Yes, 100%. R.I.P. Jay Briscoe. Absolutely. Jordan Oliver for the win. Oliver for the win. Okay, this is going to be a classic banger. I don't know about classic, but it'll be a banger for sure. Pause. Mark Briscoe needs to find his own identity. I get it. He lost his brother, but he got to come into his own. MDB, I normally love your comments and everything, but I strongly disagree with that one. I think Mark Briscoe has his own identity. And granted, it is a bit of him and his brother, him and Jay, the Briscoe family, the Briscoe brothers are inseparable. So that is part of his identity. But Mark Briscoe very much has his own style, has his own, I guess, character, gimmick, or whatever within that. And I think more of the lost opportunity, and I think me and KJ have even talked about it, of when you had him come in and he didn't instantly go after like a Ring of Honor title or anything, of, if imagine he honors Jay, of he wins the same title that he had. So you could say both Briscoe brothers were Ring of Honor world champions. That would have been way better than what we got. And And again, everybody, rolling cutter from Mark Briscoe on the Brody King on the outside here. And I get everybody does their own thing and all of that. And they're going to still follow what Mark Briscoe wants to do. But I think that's really the direction they should have gone versus just he's out here job squad. I mean, the man didn't even get a single win out here in the Continental Classic. His Mark's going flying. Assisted senton over the top rope with the steel chair on a Brody King on the outside here. I don't much about Mark Briscoe, to be honest. Just an observation from what I've seen on AEW. Fair enough, and I can respect that. And again, that's why it's so interesting that AEW does this whole, or the fan base, especially the diehards, of what, you don't know so-and-so and so-and-so? Well, AEW sure as hell doesn't do a good job of explaining who they are. Christ, this is what? The third or fourth show here that we've had the CMLL guys. And has anyone learned anything new about them? Anything more compelling? Anything more about who they are as a person, as a character, as a gimmick, as a wrestler, anything? No, I didn't think so. As the ref stops Mark setting up the table, but Mark's caught going off the top. Oh, gets dumped on the steel chair. Wow. Yeah. Mark Briscoe is the one booking himself for running the angle. If there is one, Khan or whoever is running the angle is to blame for that. Valid. Like MD said, he's more naive because AEW does a terrible job of, they'll bring in all these independent talent. It's literally take AEW's name, take those three letters out of this equation, and tell me what's different between them and say a GCW, a Wrestling Revolver, a House of Glory, whatever local indie promotion you have. It's the only difference is they have the bank account to do it, because literally you've got Mark Briscoe versus Brody King. Where are we going past here? Exactly. But it's going to be a great match and everything. Fantastic. It's there's no storylines, there's no anything. We have stuff that pops out here for its great match and everything. And again, like I said, if you took this and took those three letters out of it, and I'm not denying the talent, I'm not denying anything like that, but for this to be a weekly television show, for this to be something that's supposed to draw people in, week out, that's the thing. That's why, again, the other companies that I named, GCW, Wrestling Revolver, etc., do, weekly or do one show a week, weekend pay-per-view type stuff, everything like that, or they'll take a couple weeks off and then they'll have pay-per-view, etc., versus you're running 3 shows a week plus Ring of Honor, and literally you take those 3 letters out, there's no difference between them and an independent promotion, because there's no continuity, there's no storyline, there's no build towards anything. There's at most that AEW can only build towards 1 or 2 things right now, and the only thing that they've built towards is Swerve and Hangman, which is great, but nothing else has any sort of build. And if I'm missing something, anybody in the chat can let me know what I'm missing, but I don't think or feel that I am. But I am in picture, and I am right now in roll throughs and soup. Oh, counters a suplex into a backpack stunner there for Myra Reed. But I will remind everybody, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. We do this for anything and everything, as certain people have already had to have it clarified for them. We cover more live pro wrestling than anybody else out there doing it. We watch all of the shows. Again, that's why we can bring up those names of GCWs, the Wrestling Revolvers, because we're here watching them live. But we're here Monday through Sunday watching all the pro wrestling. And speaking of Sundays, we will be back here tomorrow for Super Bowl 58. I hopefully got that number right. But does the tribal chief kingdom there, the Kansas City Chiefs, still reign supreme? Do they still continue on with their dynasty, or does Brock Purdy and the San Francisco 49ers put tears on all the Swifties' faces here? Make sure you join us for that, because that's already been what I've been looking forward to most this whole weekend here. Oh, little bit of a black hole slam enunciation is key there. From Brody on to Mark Briscoe here for a two count. Tony and Deonna, I'll give you that. That's fair enough. So they've got two. They've got one for the men's, one for the women's. So there we go. Valid. No, Cortez, it's not hate. It's not too much hate. I'm here to enjoy AEW. And Daniel says right there, it's not hate. It's not. Trust me, we want AEW to succeed. We were out here talking about how last night of people were going back and forth of comparing the WWE WrestleMania press conference with the fact that AEW, sold out their pre-sale tickets for big business. To me, I feel you should look at them both as big wins for pro wrestling as a whole. I've been 100% somebody on here that's champion of pro wrestling as a whole is back in the limelight, back in the mainstream, back more relevant than it's probably ever been, almost, I feel. But when you have the opportunities that AEW has, if you're on a major network, you have multiple time slots to have wrestling shows, to have the talent that you have, you've got to just deliver something better as a product. That's really my feel on it. As Mark Briscoe's biting Brody King. To be honest, this match should be main event, not OC. Valid. This is the best match so far tonight here. I know I've been cutting promos and everything through it, but damn. Oh, sorry. I know you're popping back, KJ, but mid-air drop kick from Jordan Oliver on a Myron Reed as moonsaulty backdrop from Mark Briscoe onto Brody King. Hi, sir. How you doing? Sorry.
Good. I was listening to your take, and when we get a second, I have a quote here from Tony Khan that I find very interesting and kind of to me speaks to what is the problem right now. But this match is cooking a little bit. I'll give him credit. Big fan of both men. Think Mark Briscoe deserves a better fate than he's had. And I think Brody King is great and loses way too often for such a big, imposing man.
Remember, the Dark Order, the House of Black, whichever spooky faction they are, won't do jobs, remember?
Well, I think he was excluded from that criticism.
I think that's more of just Dave Meltzer was afraid of Brody King.
Yeah, no shit. Should be afraid of Malachi.
I could maybe take Murphy. I can't take Brody.
But yeah, I mean, it's crazy.
Two count. Sorry.
No, 2 count. Boom. Where are we?
Random note. Well, Mike Rouse said knee pad police. When did the knee pad police
The knee
become
pad
a thing
thing
on
keep
chat
coming
here?
up. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Much like AEW's fan base, a weird thing.
Oh, and Brody just chucking Mark. Did he get missed? Oh, through the table. Through the table.
Again, though, but again, it follows the rules of wrestling. He who sets it up must go through it.
And again, this definitely feels like again, a main event vibe, Nick.
Well, somebody said in the chat, and I'm terrible that I forgot your name already, but they said this should be the main event versus the OC Ishii match.
Right. And there you go. Brody with the W, thanks to Julia Hart. Amen.
Has Mark Briscoe, outside of a multi-person match, gotten a win really on AEW television of recent memory?
Not often. Not a lot. And here's a guy that I think, again, a really good story, a really compelling story. The fans are behind him, and they really could find a way to, again, if he was going after a TNT title, an IC title, something like that really made it matter. The fans would cheer. If he was on every Wednesday being Mark Briscoe and cutting promos and winning big matches, fans would love him.
Valid.
Oh.
But so Brody picks up the win.
Head.
What?
You'll see.
Which show? We're watching two shows. You can't just say we'll see.
Julia Hart just spiked Mark Briscoe in the forehead with something. I don't know why.
Fair enough. Well, I've got, what is Jordan Oliver setting up here?
Oh,
it's like a fucking crochet needle.
Oh, fucking railroad spike.
She's out there crocheting.
That is insane. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah,
so Mark, you had a Tony Khan quote that you.
Yes, I will get to that. WWE has been around for 40 years. Yeah, no, we completely agree. That's why I think Nick and I always say if AEW would just stay in its lane and mind its P's and Q's, because to me that's like, you know, when you pick on the bigger guy and you get beat up, and you're like, well, he was bigger than me. Well, why'd you pick the fight? And that's what I mean. I get it. My fear, if ignore WWE, AEW's their own worst enemy. Like Tony says, he was asked about a different style, as we're getting the bounty hunter next, but he said, I really believe that the Continental Classic is something I wanted to do for a long time, but it was just the right time. We had the right group of wrestlers, the ability with 5 hours of TV, now with Collision, and I think we found a groove in 2024. It's been, in my opinion, like you said, the vibes around the company are strong as they've ever been. I don't know if it's trying a new style, different things, but I know that we've hit on something right now that is some of the best AEW we've ever done. Now, that to me is the problem with AEW, because let's be real, even Cortez, who I know is a big AEW fan, this is not some of the best AEW we're getting.
No, I mean, granted, it's been so far the only AEW that we've gotten in 2024, but there was even higher points in 2023. Like we're going on a decline here, I feel. And I almost feel like you need a dinger every time Tony Khan uses the word great, because if you take a drink or take a shot every time that man says that, you'll be drunk by the end of the night.
Right. AJ says TK is cooking. Yeah, meth. Mark bladed too deep. He was gouged.
Well, when you get hit with a goddamn railroad spike there.
Right in the forehead.
In the face.
Anthony says the Outrunners and the Mascot have had more TV time than Miro or Thunder Rosa in 2024, which is definitely a shame. I guess the main stars are just there for a paycheck with a lot less work to show. Okay, yeah. I mean, what do you argue? You got a very good point here, Anthony. It's really hard to to counter that. I mean, unfortunately, that's the truth.
And that's, yeah, it ultimately comes down to, though, of we just want it to be better. Just fix your shit. You have the best opportunity. You are the golden goose, Tony Khan. You have the biggest bank account of anybody. You have the biggest depth of talent. You just signed the bounty hunter who we had cutting promos here, who I'm a big fan of. You have a wealth of riches and should have a wealth of talent. But you look like you're a man sitting on a castle of fucking sand here because you've misused everything.
Yeah, and that's it. I think my concern is I've watched every minute of this programming, and it just you're not excited anymore. I couldn't wait for Wednesdays. Like, let's fucking go. This is gonna be. I can't wait. Screw the people out there that say AEW is a mess and it's this and it's that. They don't get it. But I feel like that intrigue is waning, and I really hope there's a correction. Now, 2023, I thought was a struggle of a year. I thought their pay-per-views underdelivered. I thought the overall program underdelivered. And now here we are in 2024, and I don't think we're off to a really strong start.
Yeah, well, you've been here every Wednesday, and I think last I kept track, because we've only had 5 shows or so. So they're 1 and 4.
That's kind of how I have it. And I mean, even this week, I gave them a bit of a mulligan, or I wouldn't say a mulligan, a bit of a pass, because they opened the show really hot. They ended the show pretty good. But there was a lot in the middle that kind of lacked, but it was their best show of 2024 was this Wednesday.
AEW's gone from that show that you really want to watch, and people can go back and watch to where it was the #1 ranked show, and we did rankings for every week and everything.
Yep.
So now it's almost the most forgettable show. You forget what happened because there's nothing that carries over to the next show.
Damn, Briscoe was leaking bad as we get the virtuosa. So business about to pick up.
And one half of this business about to pause.
There you go. Nick taking a pause for the cause. But let's keep going. Let's keep going, folks. Up next, the virtuosa will be in action. I believe she's taking on Kiera Hogan. I will remind everybody out there, we are back tomorrow for our annual watch party of the Super Bowl. Said that a little clunky, but yes, our watch party, our Super Bowl party will be live tomorrow. We are going live at 6:30, I believe, but should be a fun one. We're looking forward to it. And if you want to give us a prediction on this match right now, let us know who you are taking in between Deonna. But yeah, I got Deonna. She can't lose right now. She's new. She's going after Tony. Big W coming her way. I hope this is a good match. Dun, dun, dun. Where can you watch GCW? Aaron is correct. It's Triller. Formerly known as Fight TV is now Triller TV. Download the app. If you sign up, you get GCW pay-per-views and a bunch of the independents like OVW for free. So we are peeking in at the GCW, in the JCW J-Cup tonight. We will follow that. Last I checked, Jordan Oliver was beating up on Myron Reed. Anybody can give me an update on how that match finished. But right now, we got the ding, ding, ding between Kiera Hogan and Deonna Purrazzo. So let me know who you got, who you got, who you got. TK needs to step away. He just needs to, I think, go about it differently. I really do. I really think that he's got to surround himself and trust people to run the business. If he wants to filter things through him and have a say on things, great. But if he is the sole voice between himself and the individual wrestlers that are in the actual booking, that is the problem. If you have all the wrestlers deciding, like a Jericho and the Bucks and Sting, if they get to pick what they do, it stops the show from being cohesive. And we see these broken down, we get repetition in the spots. We get a lot of lack of sensibility in the booking because everybody's looking out for themselves. I don't think that's the best way to go about it. But I am looking forward to this match here right now. Brody and our buddy, Oliver over Reed. Absolutely. I thought so. But definitely looking forward to Kiera Hogan, who's in control right now as Deonna Purrazzo comes out of the corner, folks. 4-3 Ottawa. Yes, it's been a battle. I got that in the background as well. I'm utilizing as many screens as I can tonight. But yes, the Leafs are battling back. They were down 2. Deonna. Okay, fight. Yes. Yeah, it's now known as Triller. Anna, good to see you. Good to see you. My son watched Super Bowl tomorrow night. We will be watching the Super Bowl tomorrow night. That will be very it's going to be a very good time. We want everyone out there to get your snacks, get your feel good. Join us. Me and Nick are going to shoot the shit. A little bit of, a step away from our usual wrestling coverage and dive into the Super Bowl. It should be a fun one. He's rooting for KC, so he feels less upset about wide right, and I'm cheering for San Francisco because why not? I really don't want to see Taylor Swift being that happy. AEW needs to hire a damn creative team. Yeah, it'd be really nice if they did. I'd agree with that. 2 former knockout champions going at it. Yes, they are. Cake. Usher is coming to Las Vegas on Super Bowl. Has song lots. Song is yeah. All right, Anna. Thank you. It's now Triller TV. Yes, it is. I'm in Kansas City. Way to go. Tasha Steelz is way better than Kiera Hogan. I disagree. I'm a big fan of Kiera Hogan, and that's another lady. I think if you're trying to build up your women's division and you give them matches that matter, you have a real opportunity to put somebody like Kiera Hogan in a spot where she will deliver in ring. So it's a cake-heavy occasion right now. I'm excited for Jordan Oliver versus Nick Wayne next round. There you go. So the East-West Express is going to take on each other here coming up, folks. So don't go anywhere. We're still covering the GCW, JCW, the Jersey Cup. And yes, that is a big matchup as Jordan Oliver taking on his friend, tag team partner, Nick Wayne. That should be a fun match. Jordan Oliver won this event last year. So let's go. As I got Kiera Hogan off the second row with a drop kick. Taylor Swift is going to be happy regardless. Facts, MDV. So she doesn't need any additional happiness. We're good. Someone needs to bring out the puzzle box from Hellraiser at the Super Bowl and send Taylor Swift back to the pitch he came from. Be nice. But yeah, kind of true. I'm sorry, KJ, this Collision has been hard to watch. I mean, you can almost say you can use Collision as a means of torture. I think I'm off to play Pal World. There you go, bud. Collision's been tricky. And I mean, again, I didn't mind some of what we got. Like, I do like Mark Briscoe taking on Brody. Brody actually gets the win. And there's Kiera Hogan getting tapped out by the Venus de Milo. I have a tag team match on GCW right now. Ding, ding. Let's go. It was going to do something to improve. It would be for Tony to bring in story writers to add to the show. Keep in mind, guys, Robert, they've had a lot, and they still have a lot of very smart wrestling people. I mean, man, oh, wait. Here comes Tony Storm. Timeless Tony in the house. As she is fighting up next, by the way. So she is stomping all over Deonna's exit. There you go. This Collision sucks so bad, I almost regret going to the first episode. Brighter times, man. You picked a good Collision to go to, right? But it's, again, when Tony says things like, I think we're doing better than we ever have in 2024, nobody, even your die-hard shills, the people that jump on YouTube and on podcasts, and all they do is praise everything AEW does, are not watching Rampage. Then Collision is an afterthought. It has been lacking. It doesn't have a great feel to it. You know, even guys like myself and Nick coming into this were like, are you excited? I don't know how I feel. We'll see how it goes. So, yeah, that's a tough one. But back to my original point, I mean, you had people like Regal out there. You have Jerry Flynn kicking around. You got people in the company that have really good wrestling minds. Jericho's not one of them. Stop relying on Jericho to write his own shit. You need a team of people that can be separate from the talent, that are going to give honest opinions, so that when a wrestler comes to you with an idea, if Tony doesn't have the balls to say no, maybe they do. Maybe if Jericho says, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go over and everyone's going to love it, you have somebody in position to look at Jericho and say, get the fuck out of here. And that's what should happen. The problem right now is, like Daniel Garcia, we saw Tony come out and tell the entire building, you love Daniel Garcia, you're going to see a ton of them in 2024. I love this guy. Great for Danny. But he is not the answer right now. He is going over guys that he shouldn't be going over. He is being put in spots that he shouldn't be going into. And you have talent that is not being utilized properly. So, yeah, a writing team and people that you trust outside of the niche group, no different for me than Samoa Joe and Adam Page. You know, I don't know how I felt about running it back. Now we got a draw. Now we're going to get a triple threat. It was predictable booking, and I feel like Swerve deserves the spotlight. If that makes me a bad AEW fan because I think Swerve deserves the full spotlight, I'm sorry, but I think Swerve's on a different level right now. And he's just dragging Hangman along. Send Hangman on to take on someone else. Fight Daniel Garcia, for fuck's sake. I don't care. But at the end of the day, I think you have better options. And that's my frustration. This is not entertaining. This is when your family drags you to church and you're stuck there for 4 hours. There you go. There you go. Last match was decent, short and sweet and to the point. Now we got Toni Storm taking on Queen Aminata. Queen Aminata, who's like 0-5 since signing with AEW. So, obviously she's going to lose to the champ. I won't even take a prediction on this one. Again, more knee pads concern here. Hell World is dope. Whose house? It's definitely Swerve's house. And I expect Swerve to be the new champion. And I don't want to see Swerve versus Hangman Page as a rivalry if it does become champion. And again, if the triple threat is to protect people, we don't need protecting. Joe is such a big name in wrestling. He can take a loss without a triple threat. But I don't know what's going to happen. We will see. She has $2.5 million Super Bowl suite. A $2.5 million Super Bowl suite. Is that facts? I'll take your word for it, but it doesn't surprise me. Surprise you? Great. Her suite's worth, 40 times my house. Speaking of Jack Perry, what the fuck has he been since he came back? Well, he hasn't actually come back. I mean, while we know he's in New Japan, I don't know what is happening with him right now. I know he is going to be eventually in a match if he hasn't already been, but it's been very quiet on the Jack Perry front. Again, not a guy that moves the needle. Not a lot of people are tripping over themselves to see Jack Perry. 5-0 in AEW. You should be. It's predictable as shit. Yeah, Tony should bring in Hogan and Bischoff. Yeah, good luck. Toni Storm for the win. Yeah, Damian, that's a pretty safe bet. Are you guys going to cover Collision on night 1 of WrestleMania? Look at the laughing face. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. We will be here from 11:30 a.m. all the way. We will be around the 10-hour mark when WrestleMania is happening. So if we're the silly fans that are going to watch WrestleMania instead of Collision, well, so be it. But yeah, I don't think Collision is going to get a whole lot of love from us on that particular evening. I don't. What else we got? Swift's new single, When She Breaks Up with Kelsey. He put an Arrowhead Stadium through my heart. Aww. Right. There we go. There we go. Ain't nobody talking about Jack. Again, we talk a lot about what's going to be an impact. Jack Perry hasn't been an impact. Everyone was like, oh my God, he showed up in New Japan. And then it all faded away, right? So the Revolution will not even 10 minutes from my house. And I have very little interest in going. I probably won't go. I probably will go anyways, go Swerve. I would recommend going to Revolution if it's that close to your house. I mean, it's Sting's last match, if nothing else, Real. Think about that side of things, right? Like, if it's going to be Sting's last match ever, I would go to it if I could. Why not, right? Like, to me, and I know I've been critical of the booking of the Bucks, but it's the last time you get to see Sting, so maybe worth it. Deonna has to face in AEW Taya, Anna J, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan. There's a list of ladies that she can fight. I wouldn't even mind Deonna Statlander. Is Britt Baker still a wrestler? Has she just abandoned wrestling altogether? Did she just say, fuck it, I'm done with wrestling? The fans were criticizing me. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm really curious where that lady is and what is she up to. We want Cody in AEW. Oh, no. They'll still run. It's pre-taped, but he'll still run it. What? Daniel, what? They'll probably cancel Collision that night. They won't do it. They won't do it because they think they're competing. They're not going to cancel shit. Come on, let's be real. Tonight, Will Ospreay and Okada's final match on New Japan. KJ and Nick, yes, it is. The farewell match. So yes, that will be very interesting. And again, I'm very, very excited about Will Ospreay coming to AEW. He should help move the needle, but it will depend on how Tony Khan books him once he gets here. What do you guys see happening with Will Ospreay? Who's he going to go after? Maybe it's this guy.
Hopefully not me. But yeah, to touch on something that you brought up while I was on a pause for the cause there, of Tony Khan could sign 100 people to his creative team. And trust me, we've sat there and thrown our names in the hat. Trust me, Tony, if you're listening, or if any of your stooges, if Will Washington, whoever is out there listening, our socials are running right there below.
What's Aubrey's
Don Stevens, yeah,
Don
reach out, be a
Stevens.
friend. 100%. But that's the thing. It all comes down to, would Tony listen to anybody?
Well, yeah,
you could have whatever mind. You could hire Scott D'Amore, but if Tony won't listen,
yeah,
it's irrelevant.
Well, and I think that's what the part of what the problem with Punk was not just Tony, but then if people around Tony won't listen as well, like if Jack Perry wants to use real glass and Punk says it's stupid, instead of it being nipped in the bud, it becomes an ongoing issue. If Jericho says, "Hey, I'm going to go fight Commander," and a writing team says, "Nope, that's a bad idea," then and that's a fight. Like that becomes the biggest part of the story. Is Tony is such a yes man for certain people, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Facts. But back to your original question, I hope that they just book the world with Will Ospreay, and maybe that's what they need, is some absolute new top talent to really establish everything, especially with a guy like MJF on the sidelines. Yep. But I worry that it's just a lamb getting led to slaughter.
I want Ospreay Swerve for the title at All In. Now, so we got some time to get there, but I think that is your marquee matchup. That is your chance to have a 5-star, 5-alarm blaze, burn it down. Holy shit. Let's give the Wembley fans a match that they'll never forget.
You know what's another match that I think that Ospreay could have, especially in AEW, that would be a barn burner, is him versus Joe.
Samoa Joe?
I think that has the potential to be a really, you counter a muscle buster into an ox cutter.
I guess. I'm not that keen on that.
Samoa Joe could have a good match with a broomstick, my guy. And
no offense to Samoa Joe.
So.
He's older, he's slower. I've been there, I've done it. I love Joe. We had this debate the other day, but I want this company that's supposed to be on the cusp of things. I want guys like Swerve and Ospreay in the main event. I don't want Ospreay.
I'm not saying you can't get there. I'm saying if you use Ospreay versus Joe to get there.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Like, I'm not opposed to the match at all. No.
But yeah, I wasn't saying discredit your match. I was saying, okay, have that be another match.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be good. Joe can really have a good match. It's just Joe, to me, is getting to that category of guys have to slow down for Joe. And Tony with the win.
She's got the nosebleed. She's got the busted nose here, though.
Well, we've had it's not the first time someone
is she going to come out here with the Rip Hamilton mask and everything like that? All of a sudden, she can just shoot fucking 90% from 3-point range and all that.
Maybe.
The fact that Maria May is in the top 5 baffles me.
She's had one match,
and not a good one.
No. And why hasn't Deonna beat up? Like, why has that match not been booked yet? And maybe they will do that, but it should have been Deonna versus Mariah May by now,
or at least Mariah's squaring up to her or anything. Of you're going to talk about her, you got to get through me.
Well, that's how. Remember, we had Mariah May's debut sullied because we also had Deonna Purrazzo's debut on top of her. So we're like, oh my God, Mariah May from New Japan in-ring debut. Here comes Deonna.
Much like mommy Mariah May out here learning what it's like to be a bottom.
Right?
Again, existential crisis for me. Are we supposed to be seeing this black and white? Does she just see it? Does the crowd in attendance see it?
What are
Like
we doing?
I think I'm with a lot of people. The first time she started doing this, imagine if you were live and you didn't know this was going out in black and white. Like the first couple
Yeah.
times she did this, and it just looks like she's just having an
Oh,
episode in the center of the ring. She's got a brand new film.
what did she say about her butthole?
What? What Collision are you watching, sir?
What?
Is it on a black and orange website versus
Yeah, like now she's rolling around. There's film noise going on.
Fancy maneuvers.
Who's worse, Mariah May or Maxine Dupree? Maxine Dupree.
Maxine. Not even debatable. Maria May could actually wrestle. Maxine,
No.
she's an alien in a human form.
I was waiting. Right.
And, bro, my guy, the fucking handspring, back elbow, and everything.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and everybody's instant. Just let her have some time in NXT or something. Like, just have her be one of the women in Chase U on the Chase U calendar.
I was just about to say, send her down to Chase U for some seasoning.
That sounds dirty.
Tony Storm has a bleeding nose. Yeah, she got popped. She took one. She took a potato.
Right. Quit
She has
hating.
Oh, sorry. That's
very good. No, I'm not going to read that. I'm not going to read that. So I'm going to go to this. Quit hating on Maxine. We said 2 things about her. If you can't handle someone saying 2 things about Maxine Dupree, that's more of a you problem than an us problem.
Yeah, and being honest about the fact that she is green as fucking baby food or baby poop, either one you pick. But yeah, no, she greeny as fuck.
Not Megamind Maxine.
I'm waiting for her knees to click backwards and her jump over a building.
I'm telling you, she's an alien. I bring you peace and love and shit.
Is this up next?
Abu versus Willow on Dynamite.
Okay.
And
Team
Copeland
Bailey
versus the thrust master extraordinaire. Now, this is when we just need to bring back that clip of me, you, and CJ with that.
Yeah, this side thrust. Side
thrust here when Pretty Deadly was doing that, because now just Dana Garcia is just doing full on thrusts.
Right. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, that I know you clicked away from Boston, but that's what Tony Storm made a comment about. Is interesting choices.
Well, she's gonna be out there punching people in their boxes and everything, and the fact that so many people are like, "I heard this." No, that's not at all what she said.
Right, ladies wrestling needs Britt. Do we? Well,
British wrestlers or Britt Baker? Britt is up to interpretation. Well, you asked the question, is she still a wrestler? Debatable, honestly, at this point. She's kind of Stone Cold Steve Austin, respectfully. And I love Britt Baker. She's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, but she's kind of Stone Cold Steve Austin, taking my ball and gone home.
I just want to see something real quick.
Okay.
I'm just curious. Let's go cage match. What's up, cage match? I love that people now post like cage match ratings of like shows, and it makes me laugh. I'm like,
what are we looking into? What are we debating?
Britt Baker's last match was it August 2023?
Fair enough.
I feel like it was longer than that. That's awesome.
Well, I mean, think about it. We've had within 6 days, The Rock's gone from shaking Cody's hand to slapping the taste out of his mouth. So time is a man-made construct at this point, I feel.
It's September 16th, 2023.
Who, what now?
Yeah. So I was just September 16th was the last time we seen Britt Baker in a ring. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Britt Baker.
All in?
No, I think it was before just after that.
Okay.
She lost to Chris Statlander, apparently.
Fair enough. But I'll take your word for it. Oh, I guess much like Tony Khan, I'll take the cage match rating for it.
Did Collision end? No, we're back. Okay.
I'm commercials. As I've
Commercial.
got double abdominal stretch, abdominal.
Abdominal.
I would keep going back to, Yukon Cornelius there with the abominable snowman whenever I try and say abdominal. But we had a double abdominal stretch. But you were, I thought you were getting somewhere there with Britt Baker.
Yeah, Britt Baker, because we were just trying to figure out if she's still a wrestler. Like, it's been a hot minute since she's done anything, and she just collecting a check. She's a long list of wrestlers that are collecting checks to not wrestle. And this is why signing with AEW is a great thing, because you can wrestle 4 or 5 times a year and make bank.
Like I said, she's taken her ball and went home. And I don't know what it would take to bring her back. What's gonna be that draw?
Yeah. Nick, it's a butthole. We all have them.
Some of us are them, some of us have them.
Right.
It's up to interpretation on who's who.
I think all of us have them, maybe. No.
I was trying to make a joke.
Wait, any of our fans out there that are lacking a butthole? No offense.
I don't want to know. I've already reached my capacity for this conversation.
Right. Britt is too good for AEW, FAEW. Wow. I don't think that's accurate, though. I think Britt got exposed as time went on, where she had to carry matches, and the matches were bad. And she's wrestling wrestlers like Taya Valkyrie, and the AEW faithful are shitting on Taya Valkyrie, not realizing that Britt isn't that good. She got exposed.
But see, to me, I'm not even going to get into that whole full discussion, because I actually like Britt a good bit. It was still one of my favorite matches in AEW is Britt versus Thunder Rosa.
But that wasn't really a match, right? Like, yeah, you could throw Britt with limited experience into a street fight and throw each other through tables, but like in the legit being the ability to wrestle, to me was conflated.
Respectfully, though, would AEW's women's division be anywhere near where?
No, I'm not taking that away from her. Yeah, I'm not taking that away from her. She carried that division on her back, but the longer she had that title, she ended up, to me, getting exposed and botching a lot and missing her cues. And I think by the end, and that's where fans were bitching about her, and now she's taking her ball and went home. She lost her smile, Nick.
She lost her Adam Cole, baby.
Coneheads don't have. I love this chat. You guys are nuts.
Well, that's what I was kind of getting at. We, as we say, we are the wrestling utopia. We want just what's best for pro wrestling, not what's best for a promotion. We literally had people that have been in the chat of, oh, there's too much hate on AEW to KW. Right. To hell with them. We have the full gambit of wrestling fans here, and that's what makes this great.
Now we got the ding, ding, ding. Are you taking Ishii? Oh, this is so ridiculous already, bro.
I'm so glad it's on the way for me. So I'll just watch Masha coming out here. Just looking like the OC I want to hang out with there with the fucking sunglasses and the denim jacket. Which sunglass denim jacket would you rather hang out with, folks? Would Masha Slamovich or Orange Cassidy? I'm taking Masha.
Bring on Masha. Let's go.
Right.
I'd rather fight. If I had to pick a fight, though, I'd rather fight OC.
He's just going to attack me in the shins a lot.
Nice, Bucky.
But yeah, all right. This is already laughable. He's doing the little children's of like, but he's doing it like if you're a really tall person and you just palm some short person's head. That's what we're doing here.
And again, if you want to do this early in the card and OC's kind of your R-Truth, the Hurricane, the Shane Helms type idea, fine. But he's a champion in this show. You could have that belt mean something, and it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Instead, you end your show with how you started it with, think about it. At the end of that tag match, you had FTR come out and confront the BCC and have them throw hands, and it's a pull apart. And that's the way, folks, we got to get out of here. It's crazy. It's kicking off. Make sure you tune in next week. Remember when wrestling shows did shit like that instead of just they started off with that. And now we've got no neck versus who gives a expletive.
Yeah, it's a meaningless main event. It's a meaningless main event. Who's your pick, Alex Price or Masha? Masha.
100%.
Let's go.
Champion Masha, I think she still should have been at least number 2 in the women's PWI 150, seeing how she was number 15 in the men's. And the only women ranked in the men's.
Was she? Yeah.
Yes.
MDB, I'm not clicking on yours, but it's funny. TK starting 2024 strong by for the Booker of the Year. Keyshawn, I love it. I really do, but
Keyshawn just out here should have trigger warning in his parentheses around his name here.
Just insert trolling comment.
Right, insert aggravation.
Oh my God, though.
I still
chop the shit out of that man.
But still, sorry, just watching this now and seeing what we started off with. And still, it's sitting there right beneath us because it's what we made as the thumbnail, because it was built up to be the biggest match. You're involving a whole other promotion. If you're going to involve a whole other promotion, why are you having it in the start of your fucking show instead of the main event? But the ending moments, everything that we got with that, I don't get why we book wrestling shows in 2024 fucking ass backwards. Literally, if you flip the whole booking of this card, it's a way better show.
Yeah. And again, like you said, if you were going to do a big pull-apart angle, that's a great way to go off the air. Oh, my God, folks, what's going to happen? Come back next week. Find out Wednesday.
That's what JR made his fucking goddamn name off of.
Yeah. But instead, it's like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, why we get
no wonder JR half the time is falling asleep at AEW commentary and everything like that.
Poor bugger. Big suplex by Ishii, though. OC for the win. Yeah, nobody's picking Ishii, though. It looks like Ishii uses bigger chopsticks than fucking Orange Cassidy.
Now I was like visioning in my head of like, do they just have a size comparable of the chopsticks they use, or did Ishii use chopsticks the size of those two? Like, where do we go? There's multiple layers in there.
That joke has layers.
There's layers.
Sabres booed off the ice. The Sabertooth's birthday. 3-1 doesn't seem like a reason to boo them off the ice, though, my guy. That's interesting.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, well, nothing goes right in Buffalo.
Shut up.
I heard they moved the net 6 inches to the right.
Well, no, I had one of my neighbors sit there and send me of how Buffalo's going to adjust their field goal post and just move the top part of it there over to the right.
Do you think anybody in the league would notice if they just shimmied it a few inches?
I just don't know at this point. I sat down. I think I was even talking with my landlord today. I think we just need to sage the entire locker room or something there over in Buffalo. It's just bad juju all around.
It's the funniest shit. Like if there was ever a reason to think that there's a curse, like how could you really have the Augusta win cause wide right so often?
And 13 seconds and everything like that. Like the overtime rule. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I don't need a cardiologist because I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, because if there's a team that will put you in a cardiac arrest, it's them.
Right. Ishii looks like OD, the odd job. I was like, ODB, what? Odd
you
job.
Know me? I'm doing the JOB.
Oh, fuck.
Well, he is doing the JOB, so there you go.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, Stun Dog Millionaire. DDT. Oh, that's what that guy needs, is his head mashed into the top of the fucking. Oh, yeah.
But though his shoulders just take the impact, not his neck, because he doesn't have one. So it's just, if anything, it's better because the impact spread out more.
Right. And listen, don't get me wrong. Like this is the situation I get put in because I don't mind Ishii. I just hate this main event.
But that's the thing is Ishii, Suzuki. Thank you. I was gonna call him Murder Grandpa, and I'm like, no, what's his real name? All of that. Almost even Tanahashi, but Tanahashi hasn't been on AEW a ton. But like those two guys, especially, they don't feel special anymore because they've been showing up in AEW so much.
Yeah, and they do the same shit, and they never win.
Right. The Buffalo Bills are trush. You mean tush push? I don't know.
Oh, 2 count. Ishii is the bodyguard from the 3. Yes! I love that. I love that.
I don't love this of Daniel saying the Bills should just forever name their home field Wide Right Stadium. You can suck my wide right and my left, something or other.
We just call them the Buffalo Wide Rights from now on. Hey, how about next time just don't kick. Go for it.
How about we're going to get into a whole discussion.
We'll be back for the Super Bowl.
No, I'm going to just say, how about don't go for a fucking fake punt to respectfully Damar Hamlin, who plays. I understand what he went through, and I love him, and I appreciate him. I'm glad he's here. But the man plays all of like 0.3% of a fucking football game in a season here. So maybe not do a fake punt to him. That's very clearly, obviously, in the middle of like the third quarter when you're up in the fucking game. This isn't a game of Madden. You can't sit there and hit fucking restart.
If I was a Bills coach and I'm down by 1 or down by 2 and there's 13 seconds on the clock and they're like, should we go for the kick? Fuck no, throw it. I don't care where we are. I don't care if we're on our own 5. Fucking throw it. Throw it!
Still, I know it's a joke with that even then, but still, it really is our biggest issue of when it comes to that pressure cooker time of game management we can cook all the time, especially during the regular season, what have you, comeback wins, sat there, went on a 6-0 streak. When it comes to playoff time and we're really in it deep and you've got to go for the jugular, especially with a guy like Patrick Mahomes, which is why I'm taking them to win on Sunday. Because if you don't put that man away, he's like the goddamn Undertaker. He will come back and fucking end your shit. So when it comes to stepping on the jugular for the Bills, they just don't know how to do it.
Start me up. We got
I told you.
I thought this was AEW, not New Japan Pro Wrestling, CMLL, AAA, Ring of Honor, GCW, ECW, WCW. Fuck.
It is. It's all of the above. That's what the A in AEW for stands for, is all of the above wrestling. As I say, don't let me go again. So just
I'm not clicking on any of these. I'm not clicking on any of them.
So many trigger responses here.
If y'all want to talk about the Buffalo Bills, we got a Super Bowl party tomorrow.
We got that on, and we also got the Discord, etc. We can talk about it there.
Right.
I've already had enough flashbacks here.
Right. 2 count.
As I've still got Masha and Alex Price going on right now, as Price with big knees in his corner on Masha here.
Start me up.
Again, I didn't want to, but you put it there.
I liked it. I was like, all right. This is New Japan America.
I was gonna say, make New Japan America great again, then, fucker.
Dun, dun, dun. All right, folks, we are rolling along here. Alex Price has potential to be a big star in wrestling. He's good. He's got AEW, maybe some NXT, but yeah, AEW. But that's again, like we've said, we want AEW to still be a thing. We want it to be a number 2 or number 3, much like TNA, etc.
We're not people that are out there of like, well, just fuck it, just get rid of it. We're sick of this. No, just do better, be better.
Orange Cassidy is hulking up and then falls on his face. Oh, it's so gimmicky, bro.
Oh, Casey J's got you covered there with AEW, anything except wrestling.
Yeah, there was another one that made me laugh too. Anything else wrestling? Anyone enters?
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Anyone else? We got all these guys. Anyone else want to join?
Right. Alex Pro. Oh, barely made it over there with that little tope.
What a great main event. Oh my, I'm sorry, Freebird. I can't go with you on this, my guy.
No, you just, like I said, you
why? Because there was like a couple false finishes. What makes this a great match? Kick out.
Sorry, I gotta click on this one because it's just funny if you get a star Dana with this one at least. Flashbacks, Nick acting like they're Napalm and Thurman Thompson and Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly. I just like it for the historical accuracy.
Right. If you don't hate,
if you hate Orange Cassidy, then I blame Cornette. Is that what you were going at?
Yeah, I blame my eyes because I sold Nick on Orange Cassidy once upon a time because you were really upset they booked him against Osprey and he delivered. But
unfortunately, I've been proven right. I feel.
Yeah. Since then, shit.
That Orange has gotten rotten.
To another false finish. I mean, again, I see why some fans right now would be like, "Oh my god!" Again, but I know where this is going, so I don't care. And the extra gimmicky stuff is what ruins it for me.
Yeah, it's so funny to me how AEW fans are the smarkiest of wrestling fans, yet they fucking have the ultimate suspension of disbelief when it comes to actually watching their fucking product and thinking that it's good.
A little bit.
Literally, like you're the fuckers that pay attention to cage match ratings and fucking star ratings and this, that, and whatever. You love Meltzer, but the second you hear ding and ding, it's like Pavlovian effect of you just fucking blank out for a minute and just at the end, just yay, it was good. I don't know what happened, but it was good.
Yeah, they could literally sit in the middle of the ring, slapping each other in the face, do 4 false finishes, and it's a 5-star match. Right. And I think what bothers me is I feel like the diehard AEW fans hold other wrestling companies to a different level or different standard. So the other companies can have a really good match and they're like, it was okay. It was predictable, da-da-da. And then you watch this and you're like, wait a minute.
There's just multiple layers onto the smarkiness there. Brandon, what up? I like this of AEW diehards are snobby wrestling fans. Smarks. They expect you to know every wrestler.
Skid marks. And they are.
Yeah, that's your favorite name.
Yeah, skid marks. And
that's gotta be another t-shirt there. Well, and then MD. Well, speaking of that, of shit, ancient philosopher KJY.
Shit. Come on. And he won with a roll up.
How do you roll up a man with no neck?
Actually, it's his natural position, like an armadillo.
Well, no, right. But how do you differentiate between shoulders and like scalp and shit?
Like a big ball of flesh.
Right. It took me a minute because you said armadillo.
You got that, eh?
I caught it. I was just downloading the file there for half a second. So Masha moves on to the finals. So we got Masha taking on the winner of Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. Like you said, the East-West Express implodes. The mega powers collide.
Right. This match is Blue Chew for Dave Mills. Facts.
Ishii needs to take some Blue Chew for his neck and fucking find one.
Right. Hashtag skid marks. As the Kingdom have now jumped OC. See, this would have been better if it was Bennett and or Taven against OC. Then I would have been really into the match. And then he beats one of the 2 tag champs and gets jumped.
Trying to make sense of this is just starting to make my fucking brain
offering
hurt
alternatives. Because if I'm going to criticize it, I want to be able to offer, well, what, you know, what's wrong with Ishii? What would you have done? Well, I would have put him in a match with somebody that he's in a storyline with.
But there is no stories. There is nothing.
They have
the cupboards are bare.
They have a loose story between fucking Roddy. He's going to fight Roddy at Revolution. So make him fight one of Roddy's buddies.
She is up next. He was with that all the time. But yeah, I just, what the fuck?
Anybody want to give us a rating on Collision? We take a rating for all the wrestling out of 10 tonight. So let us know. How did you feel about Collision tonight? Yeah.
I'm offended in the sense of it wasn't exactly a bad show. It was just booked fucking ass backwards. It's like if you read a fucking book starting with the last chapter and read forward instead of reading backwards.
Mm-hmm. Again, it wasn't a bad match as far as what they did in the ring. I don't like some of the other stuff, but again, I think there was a better alternative for that match, right? Like, I think they could have put OC against somebody that's related to Roddy. He beats them, and then he gets jumped, and it ties together. A random spot booking match with Ishii made no fucking sense.
Well, and as Nick Raven says, wow, that ending made it even worse. Like, it's just... It's again, you started here and then you ended here. Yeah. And that's the problem. Versus you could have started here and ended there.
Right. That was an aggressive play call.
Bold strategy, Todd. Let's see how it works out for him.
Right. Wait, what the
so I've got Nick Wayne versus Jordan Oliver about to kick off here.
Yeah, no, I literally, my shit, I love Triller sometimes. I'm like, wait a minute, I've seen this match already.
I was just not about to watch Wonder Woman 1984 here.
Oh my God. The human chode gets rolled up by the Denim King. Armadillo.
All right, you goddamn armadillo out here.
An armadillo.
But folks, let us know what your rating is for Collision and just overall, because C-Money's out here 0 out of 10, Jobson 6 out of 10, 6. That seems 3, 6.5, 7, 4.75, 6.7. It's starting to seem like 6 seems to be the almost overall average here.
6 seems fair. Because it wasn't all bad. Mark Briscoe versus Brody was decent. The 2 women matches were short but sweet and not bad. Nothing to really write home about, but you did have, you know, Deonna and Tony kind of one up each other a little bit. But the whole antics at the end was a little too much for me. There was some decent things in there.
Again, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but literally, if you just reverse this, like you book this in reverse order, you start off with that. Okay, cool. Then that maybe explains the promo later on, this, that, whatever third you can get worked out around. And then you say top of the hour is when that would probably be about when you have Mark Briscoe versus Brody Kingfo. There you go. Holy shit, you've got everybody that's flipping through. This is 2 guys beating the fucking bejesus out of here. I got to watch this. And then you end with the pull apart, and like we talked about, folks, it's fucking breaking down into all chaos here. We've got to go home here. Make sure you tune in tomorrow or next week, whatever. This, that, and the third. It's so frustrating with AEW at times because you can see the obvious errors. It's like watching a kid that has spelling errors, like to where you still are typing a Word document and you see the little red squigglies under there, and you're like, just fucking use spell check, you asshole.
Oh, and again, we've all been there where you're watching your buddy or somebody, your family member, whatever, and they're trying to do something. They're trying to fix something, or they're playing a fucking video game, and you're like, just give me the fucking controller.
Right. Just let me do it. You can't do it, so just let me fucking do it.
I got it. You're like, dude, you jumped in the same fucking hole 6 times.
Right.
6.5. I think, I'm okay with 6. I saw the comment about the WWE fans' death threats for Ava. We talked about this. Social media is a horrible place, and both fan bases have, again, they don't represent the entire fan base. AEW fans aren't, defined by their crazies, and WWE fans aren't defined by their crazies. Again, anybody who gets death threats because of wrestling is fucking, whoever's sending them is stupid.
Social media is just a pile of excrement, and you have to wade through it to fucking find something decent. So I'm glad that you found at least us there, the truffle underneath all the good excrement out there when it comes to pro wrestling conversations here.
Right.
Yeah, if you're doing that, you are despicable. You are a disgusting human being, respectfully.
Yeah, no, it's gross. It's fucking gross. Grow up.
You literally are what The Rock was calling about Cody crybabies and between their chicken nuggets. Dad, you want to play catch with me? No, Cody's got to finish his story. Do you want to get late? No, Cody's got to finish his story.
No Collision next week. Thank you. Yeah, we're gonna be here for Wrestling Revolver instead. Thank you.
Oh, if it's just gone, just hallelujah. Glorious day.
They should cancel it the night of, like, the Saturday of Mania. They should just fuck it. We're not doing it.
Well, I think it's just that's the overall theory. Respectfully, if they should just cancel it. And I say that with all due respect. You need to consolidate because you can't. You've extended yourself too far. You can't fucking figure out 2 hours, let alone 7 hours of booking. So start consolidating it down. I'm waiting for the day that there is a Black Friday, a Black Saturday, whatever, and I don't want it to happen, but the days that we get in WWE to where there's a cleaning of the house of AEW roster talent.
Yeah.
Because respectfully, I don't want anyone to be out of work, but it needs to happen. You can't, there's people that are signed there that you don't even know are fucking signed there, and Tony doesn't, and he owns the company.
Oh yeah, you still work here with hi.
Right. I thought I fired you 3 years ago.
Announcers used to sell the action going off the air. We talked about this, like the good old JR. And remember, they had JR then, and the AEW faithful hated him because he was calling shit out. He was pointing out some of the flawed shit, and they were like, "We don't need this guy. Fuck him." So
yeah, well, and also respectfully, T's and P's for JR. His health started to get the better of him, unfortunately.
Absolutely. 6.5, 3 out of 10 for Collision. Deonna and Tony Storm only positives. I mean, I thought, well, I didn't see, you had a really good match between Mark and Brody, Nick. And then the match ends, and there's Julia Hart, who we haven't seen in a while. We talked about it last night. Slides in the ring and just stabs the man in the forehead with a fucking with a piece of a tire iron. What the fuck was that?
Right, and just a gusher here.
Like, wow, how did that play in?
Right. But I will, especially since we'll be here tomorrow for Super Bowl 58, I'll give this a 5.8.
5.8.
Right. I'll get into how everybody in the chat at times like I see Danny out there with 6.5. People like to get in the decimals. So I'll go 5.8. I won't give it a full 6, but it's not a 5.5 either.
Right. I think Damien asked who will be taken between Nick Wayne and Jordan Oliver. I'm going to go the defending champion, Jordan Oliver.
Yeah. Well, it's almost interesting to think of who goes over, or like because what's going to end up being versus Masha, so it's almost predicting to go into that match too a little bit. But I'll go with you. I'll take Oliver because I don't think Nick Wayne's going to be involved in this, that, and the third. He's got too many, Christians, storylines going on.
Is it? Technically, he's on the shelf in the Christian storyline. We haven't seen him since he took a chair shot.
Well, he's out here getting rolling through hip ups and a shoulder brace.
He's okay.
But again, it's like we've talked about. You get a Blake Christian on GCW. He was one of the greatest things. He's what we tuned into GCW shows for. And then you get him on Ring of Honor. And it's like, that's not you. That's not why they signed you.
Yeah. Here's an interesting thought. And hey, we might get this with Netflix. But as a sports fan, I want an off season in wrestling. It's never been that way. I don't know how I would adjust to it.
I think that's the whole reason. I know you mentioned Netflix. I think that's the whole reason why Netflix did the deal with them, is because pro wrestling's always been that self-made,
Yeah.
that 365, 52 days a year fucking content. So you got a ready-made package there. What?
I lost you a little bit with the number, but I know what you said. I got you. You just made me laugh.
I can't do math. I'm like Solo Sikoa out here. I hate math.
Right. I appreciate, or we appreciate the super chat reel. That's awesome. I don't know how I feel about off because just I grew up with, you're always looking forward to the big pay-per-views. I mean, I could go with less pay-per-views. Now Tony wants to add more, but I like big four. I like if you have big four and it had a real special feel to it. Some of these pay-per-views feel a little throwaway, but off season, I don't know, guys. People lose interest. You might not get them back.
Well, and to me, again, I think the only reason why people would be calling for an off season is because things aren't booked great. Because never has there been a time that where people were calling for an off season. Do you remember in the 90s, the early 2000s?
No.
Where someone's like, you know what wrestling needs is like 3 months off.
Yeah.
No, you were waiting for the next show, the next pay-per-view, because it was booked fucking well.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how we got in the mess kind of that we're in now of like, you had one show a week, and then we wanted so much. It was so good. We end up with 2 shows a week, then 3 shows a week, and then Sunday Night Heats and all the other additional shows and the Thunders. And
now we're going to get Speed on Twitter here on X. We're
that's an interesting 5-minute matches on Twitter.
That's still somehow 3 minutes over most people's retention span.
Yeah, fair enough. Facts, like fucking goldfish nowadays.
Right.
835 days without an angle. Facts.
It's been 1 week since you booked it.
I forgot about Briscoe versus Brody. Completely forgettable match. It had no story. Well, yeah.
It was a good match though, without any story, and that's like I said, that is a knock, but you do have to, at this point, respectfully look at AEW of just turn that storyline part of your brain off, because it ain't going to happen. It's not going to be there. I
think that's what the intriguing part for me is. Again, by the way, Jordan and Nick right now are going toe to toe. Not this one, Wayne, but they are going, again, a pretty good start to this match. But I think that's where, like, when you hear fans, especially modern fans, go, and it doesn't matter what company, but it's like, real pro wrestling. And I think what gets missed when people say that is somehow like the Dave Meltzers of the world have created this idea that real pro wrestling was about like these 15-minute spot matches, when realistically, real pro wrestling was the Dusty Rhodes, the Ric Flairs, the Buddy Landells, the legends that told stories. And I know I jumped from 3 and there's more and more, but legitimately, like, that to me is real pro wrestling. It wasn't that Hogan and Andre had a barn burner. It was the story that led to that match that everybody paid attention to, that sold out the fucking show.
Well, and to piggyback off that, I'll ask this out there, and anybody in the chat, anybody that can hear the sound of our voice right now, was it ever a 5-star match, like a barn burner of a match that you had no idea what was going on going into, that got you into pro wrestling and being a pro wrestling fan? Or was it the story building into the match? You got sold of, like Jim Cornette sat there and did the whole soliloquy about when you're seeing the little guy fight the big guy on the side of the road and you relate to this guy and all that. Like, that's the shit that makes you a pro wrestling fan, not, well, so-and-so told me this is a fucking 7.5-star match, so this is why I like this. No. And again, that's not discrediting fantastic matches, because you got to have one before the other, but it's a little, the story is the chicken before the egg a little bit here when it comes to a 5-star match.
Yeah, but I think some of the matches that we forever talk about, like some of those staples, like when you bump into an old school wrestling fan and you're like, oh, what are some of the best matches ever? Like the Steamboats and Flairs, the Macho Man and Steamboat, oddly enough.
Right.
But like, you know, even the Michaels Razor, like those kind of 5-star burners from back in the day all had an angle leading into it. Everybody remembers the Ric Flair Steamboat rivalry because the story was so compelling, and then the matches cooked. They burned.
Right. Well, Wrestling Bros podcast saying, I want the story, but I want the payoff with a great match. What's a story if the match doesn't pop, and vice versa?
100%.
100% agree with that, but I think you can have a great match or a great angle that doesn't have a great match. You can't have a great match that doesn't have a good angle going into it. I think that it's a little lesser than with that situation.
I think what we're getting with a lot of the booking from recently, just go over the last few weeks with Tony Khan, is my problem is even a good match that we're getting, I'm struggling to give a fuck. To be blunt. Like, I'm like, okay, I like these two wrestlers, and yeah, this is really good. Back and forth, they're athletic, a bunch of false finishes, but I don't give a fuck about what is like how we got like there's no care. I'm not invested in any way, shape, or form. I applaud a little, but I want to be invested.
Well, it's interesting because we watch the independent shows, Wrestling Revolver, etc. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole list, but they have matches that maybe have at most a little storyline, and it's mostly though it's just a great matchup that they have together and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the goal going in because you've also only seen it, once a month, stuff like that. Versus AEW runs 2, and another 2, or 2, 1, and 2. So they run 5 hours of television a week, not including Ring of Honor. I know, again, I said I suck at math, so I had to do it out loud. It's good old American education system, but absolutely that you burn out on just having matches to have matches way quicker.
Yeah. And I think a great example of that, Nick, to your point, was Thursday night, no matches. And it fucking cooked. Like, everybody was talking about that press conference and not a match to be found. It was all talking and promo, but man, did it feel like good pro wrestling? Did it feel like good business?
Well, Robert out here saying ECW did not need story.
Wrong.
Just on the match. 100% wrong.
Bullshit. Robert, that is absolute and utter. Right now, somewhere, Paul Heyman is fucking rolling his eyes at you, sir.
Well, absolutely. If you think, and again, that's a narrative that's out there. If you think that ECW actually didn't have stories or anything, you didn't actually watch ECW. You've just watched some highlight reels. You just watched, a hardcore collection or whatever, because Christ, that's the whole reason Tommy Dreamer has a career still in pro wrestling, is the stories that were told in ECW.
Yeah, no,
that's the reason Raven has the fucking mythos that surrounds him still. Sandman, Sabu, Taz.
Yeah, you really think that Sandman was like known for his 5-star bangers?
Right, yeah. Well, he banged a lot of 5s, but they weren't 5-star matches.
Yeah, 100%. No, you got to get ECW. There was even, what they did with Mick Foley. That was a very story-driven company. Yeah, you got your blood, guts, and gore. And I think if AEW wants to be the alternative, ECW is a good framework, but you have to remember that company was built on the really great stories that led to insanity in the ring.
And again, though, they didn't really tour, especially.
No.
They, again, much like we've talked about within NXT, if AEW had its home base, like when they were in Daly's place and when they went back, that's the best place. Host Dynamites, host your AEW shows weekly from Daly's place, make it a special attraction, make it a venue that you've got to go to, like the NXT, like when you, what's now the 4200 arena, the old ECW arena.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, to where you had this home base, and then when you tour, then maybe you help better with your ticket sales and all of that, because it becomes a special attraction. Because right now, 2,000 seats in a 7,000 seat venue doesn't work for me, dog.
No, and that's a really good point. We saw it when they went to Daly's place, Nick. It had a good vibe at Daly's place.
That's what I'm saying. If they went back to their home, it's like when NXT stays in Full Sail. ECW, their weekly shows, ECW TV, was from the 4,200 arena. That's the reason it's the ECW arena, still known. 2,300 arena, sorry.
Yeah. It was Hardcore Wrestling was the main. Nah, that's not true. Because the Hardcore Wrestling, without what we were into, the best parts of ECW, like you mentioned, Dreamer and Raven, Sandman and Raven, like that, we wanted to know what was going to happen. And we knew that but we knew that when they finally got their hands on each other, they were going to go extreme, like that was the payoff. But
even then, that was a section of the show because Rob Van Dam was not initially a hardcore wrestler. Jerry Lynn was not a hardcore wrestler. Chris Ben,
Dean Malenko,
Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. You had Juventud, you had Psychosis, you had Super Crazy, you had all your debuts you had the Luchas before they were on WCW. ECW does not still respectfully get the flowers it deserves outside of it just being hardcore wrestling.
I love it. There's a history.
I was a hardcore ECW fan. I had the N64 game, all that. I still got DVDs, all that.
But yeah, man, I mean, ECW cooked.
Jericho was ECW.
Almost, they touched. Look at Austin was fucking ECW for a
That's where Stone Cold Steve Austin was born,
right? Yeah, for all extensive purposes. But yeah, I mean, again, yes, we remember the hardcore shit that happened, and we see now on YouTube and on the internet the clips of fucking dozens of chairs being thrown in the ring. But it was all the stories that got us there.
Terry Funk, absolutely.
Terry Funk, Sabu.
And Christ, Cody even mentioned it when he was talking to Heyman when he was building up the match for 39 of ECW gave my father his confidence back.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
This match is cooking. Cutter. They return on cutters.
I got an unprettier.
Yeah.
1, 2 count. But Cody even sat there and brought up to Heyman of ECW gave my father his confidence back.
Yeah. And you mentioned like Terry Funk was such a big part of making that a valid place to work. And yeah, dude, like so much talent went through there. And as you said, you could get an insane technical match. You could get a crazy lucha match. And then, they might set something on fire and crucify somebody.
Right.
A 3-year feud. There you go.
Well, and Danny even saying Sandman and Raven had big storylines. Why didn't ECW last? And well, Aaron hits it here of, they ran out of money
and talent. They couldn't keep up with the poaching. It became too much of a fucking cycle. Every time somebody got a little hot, they got poached.
Yeah, he was really what AEW wanted to be without the bank account behind it. And then granted, Heyman didn't exactly help himself with, you know what? I want you to throw me off the air.
Throw me off TV. Yeah. Classic. And a lot of people, if you ask like Bully, that Heyman might not have been the best man, business guy at the time.
But even then, you still have guys like Dreamers that out there tearing up and saying, I would do anything still for this man right now. Like, he's the reason for a lot of the people that are in WWE Hall of Fames and in a lot of people's, top favorite wrestlers have ECW and have Paul Heyman to thank.
Right. Oh. He got him.
Who,
or did he?
I don't know. We got the drum tribe here.
Did he tap?
The winner.
Wow. Jordan Oliver. Let's go. And he's going up against Masha. Wrestling
That's
Bros.
Going to be a hell of a match. And again, though, think about it. That's the only match left. So man's going to have to really run it back. And that's a super credit, and that's the thing that's missing in wrestling, and why watching these GCW shows, etc., at times is great, because they legitimately actually have like that Pride FC, Grand Prix of you run the whole gamut that same night. It's not you win a match and then in 2 weeks you have another match, and then in 3 weeks you have a third match. No, same night.
And those nights, yeah, that's an exhausting night. But the two friends are, I think, potentially embracing here. But yeah, a good match. Good, two great young talents deliver. And Jordan Oliver will go on now to fight Masha in the finals. This is really cool. Wrestling Bros going to a tribute show at the 2300 Arena. That should be a good time.
Oh, 100%. That's something that needs to happen. I know you've talked about Heyman needs to be inducted into the Hall of Fame in Philadelphia. So
yeah, no, I want it. I want it bad. Like, I know it sounds stupid. Like, why do I care? But I think if you were ever going to do it, Paul Heyman can go in the Hall of Fame. And then it would just add another layer to the Heyman being an asshole of like Hall of Famer Paul Heyman.
Hall of Famer, Corona visitors pass.
Right. A lot of things depend on the media rights deal for AEW now. Listen, this is a bit of an interesting story and an ongoing story for AEW. And I know the fans might not want to hear the truth, but the media rights is not a done deal. And there's a lot in flux. We were talking about mergers between Warner and is it Paramount that might be coming together?
Well,
No,
I know it's Warner, Fox, ESPN are all merging on a sports network.
no, but I believe that, and you guys can correct me out there, but I think Time Warner is in talks about potentially merging with Paramount. I think it is.
Really, I
That
haven't
could
seen that.
that could have an impact on this whole process. We have, if Tony Khan values his company up here and Warner Brothers Discovery values it here, are they able to find common ground? We know that Warner Brothers Discovery is happy with AEW, at least that's what they've reported, but that doesn't mean they're on the same page. And what happens to AEW without a media rights deal? And everybody's coming to the ring right now.
Yeah, so again, we just had the other semifinals, so we've got to at least probably have Jordan Oliver at least catch his
Take a
breath
break.
here. So we've got
Take some water.
a multi-person tag match here.
Okay. Jericho was in ECW. Yes, he was. Before he was a super douche.
Yeah, many moons ago.
Dun, 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 dun.
Do you think we're gonna get another halftime heat? That would be really interesting, and especially
you think because of the Rock, did the Rock try and slide in there somehow?
I'm like, but it will work so well, because think about it, it's a 1-of-1, but it was so good. And you're telling me, if you're watching a football game, do you want to listen to some smooth R&B, or do you want to watch some WWE on your Twitter or anything like that? If you're going to debut Speed, etc.
Yeah, here comes Team Out. How many fucking people are on these teams?
Hey, ready.
Roddy Daddy.
Right, yeah. Now I instantly got to pick a certain side. Well, we've got Ali there, so we got
a team up.
Babyface versus Team Heel here. This is the way over budget.
Is this like a 20-person tag match? I hope it's not elimination, because I'm going to bed. Speaking of that, let me go check. Make sure my pillows are fluffed.
You go ahead and you fluff your pillows there, sir. I'm sure you might fluff something else here. As by the way, shout out Cole Radrick wearing a Pat McAfee shirt. I knew I liked you. But yeah, if you're expecting me to name any sort of teams here, I can just name certain wrestlers that are involved here. We've got Ali Catch, KJ's girl there, and I've got my good friend Cole Radrick on Team Babyface here. We've got Charles Mason. And it's Los Mezizos is on here on Team Babyface. Like I said, we've got Charles Mason. We've got Christ, now I can't even remember who's there because they've already left. But yeah, I'll put it this way: whether you're taking Team Heel or Team Babyface here, But yeah, this is the I guess way over budget multi-person tag match here to spare some time. How you been, Aaron? Watching wrestling so far? Who, Jacob? I don't know what you're going on about there, but you can have that. But I've been good. Remember the good old days when wrestlers would move instead of a still image in the match poster in WWE? Oh, you're talking about the when they were selling the doing the video packages or announcements for a match, and they do a little halfway pose there. Granted, if you really know, if you're an OG, you remember the good old days when you got like the WCW game, which I had on PC, WCW Nitro, to where you had, every wrestler would sit there and turn around and cut a little promo of why you should pick them and for the match and all that. We need 20-person tag belts. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't need that at all. But yeah, this is a 10-person tag match right now. Yeah, this is 5-on-5. So like I said, we've got Team Babyface versus Team Heel here. As I've got Jack Cartwheel going against God knows who, respectfully. Loving it. Why? Oh, Jacob was asking you, Aaron. I forgot you were here. What up, big man? What up? West V Mountains. No, we don't need those belts at all. Eddie Guerrero's pick me promo was elite. He cut a whole speech. Valid. 10v10. No, 5v5. 10-person tag match. Or 10-man tag. 5v5. Because, when you add 5 into 5, it makes 10. And again, like I said, I suck in math. Damien going, I'm team Rowdy Daddy Cole Radrick for the win. There you go. Just don't call him James Ellsworth, otherwise he might, not be a big fan of you. I learned that the hard way. Watch any barbed wire match with Sabu. Where did we go? Where did that come up? But yeah, I guess good recommendation from Jobson, as I've got Cole firing up here. I still respectfully think he looks like if Bob Backlund and James Ellsworth had a child, or at least a cousin, is Cole Radrick. But I still love you, Cole. You're still my ready Eddie pause. Thank you for oh, okay, Russian. I can respect your comment. I'm not going to fully read it out, but you can have that, and trust me, there's more than who you named. I'll just say that. Well, why are we getting a holy? We're getting holy sugar honey iced tea chance for a Cole Radrick out here hitting cartwheels on Jake Cartwheel. What is happening in GCW? As I've got Tony Deppen versus Cole right now in the ring. Big Nick, my birthday is June 25th. Well, I guess happy either early or late, depending on when you're listening to this or how you feel about your birthday, because it's nowhere near current. But so, like I said, Jacob, happy early or late birthday. But this is just, This is more collision booking here. I know we're watching GCW, but I kind of, like I said, at least that there's not supposed to be a story going into it. Versus AEW with 5, 6, 7 hours of content a week should have some bit of story going into it because it's weekly television. GCW is monthly exclusive pay-per-views here, as I've got Kerry Morton Jr. out here right now doing, am I that out of shape? I can't even remember what he was doing, where you can kick your legs out and put your hands over your head like that. Jesus, I'm fat. Double flapjack from Los Mazizos. Steve Macklin versus Charles Mason got announced for the House of Glory versus Wrestling Revolver pay-per-view in Philadelphia Street Fight. Fair enough. And I really, on an entire side note, I like that independent wrestling still even at that point, that's one of the biggest talked about other shows going into WrestleMania season in Philadelphia, etc. And I know there was the times, I want to say it was when they went to like New Orleans or Orlando around then, that you almost had more indie, so many independent shows, you literally got burnt out on pro wrestling, versus we're going to have some independent shows that are really, and they're going to also team up together, much like how I think I mentioned earlier how Progress and Defy are teaming up together. That now you're starting to see these independent companies realize it helps everybody out when we work together, versus we're each trying to just fucking kick each other down the ladder here. But Jimmy Jacobs out here, the man out here taking Broski 101, trying to team up here with Los Mazizos. Jacob with Clarence Mason over Charles Mason. Fair enough. Abdullah Kobayashi is one of my faves. See, money, I don't even know where you were trying to get that from. I thought you were going to start talking about the medulla oblongata, like Colonel Sanders there from Billy Madison, but I don't know, man. It's your reference in there. Oh, Kerry Morton with Morton Jr. with a blind tag into Charles Mason. So Cole Radrick right now so far has been the bit of the workhorse of this match here. Granted, he's just taking all the moves from the heels as he takes a springboard moonsault. Mason tagged back in. You're not a hardcore wrestler until you were in a 441 light tube death match. You're so much not wrong about that it's disturbing. As speaking of disturbing, we have everybody pose for a picture on the heel team with with Roderick Strong, Cole Radrick. I can say words. In a submission hold as Jack Cartwheel's just behind them, literally just doing cartwheels the whole time behind them for the fucking photo bomb. Rich Swann versus Mustafa Ali. Grit Your Teeth Wrestling Revolver, March 28th. That's going to be a hell of a match. Absolutely. And I very much like Mustafa Ali's kind of whole world tour or whole independent tour here. And a guy like Matt Cardona has really shown the way of that guys can be outside of WWE and make a career, make a living, make a name, and almost better themselves, even far beyond what they were in WWE on the independent scene. And I think already Mustafa Ali's done that with all this kind of campaign promo stuff. Like we were all here for Thursday, and you had Mustafa Ali 2024, borders up on TNA and everything. So Mans is out here just putting in all the work. As Alley Cat's just coming in like a ball of fire here. I don't know if you're complaining from the pain or because it's Alley sitting there with the the double hip splash that cheeks the cake to the face there. Where do you guys watch GCW at? Oh, we watch it on Trillo TV, formerly known as Fight TV. That'd be where we watch it. And especially hashtag not sponsored, but Fight if you want to, or even Christ Premiere, which we kind of halfway avoid. But yeah, if you have Fight Plus for a whopping $4.99 a month, again, hashtag not sponsored, you get everything when it comes to GCW, Wrestling Revolver, etc. already included into that. So you don't have to buy the shows individually or anything. You get a ton of extra content just included with that. Much like when you become a member with us. Right? So be a friend, tell a friend. I have a question for Aaron. Well, y'all can sort that out. Also, like I said, Piranha Tank death match and a circle death match. Thank you, Japan. Fair enough. Fair enough. Talking about hardcore history. ECW was fun because you had the most unprofessional professional wrestlers all in one package. Yeah, and respectfully, I've been on record of saying I thought that was what GCW was. For a good minute here, as we've got Sacco on GCW. GCW, when it really, like I said, when it was really going to like one match, one show a month, stuff like that, and really putting its focus on actually having a storyline and a continuity. And when they were doing Hammerstein Ballroom and everything like that, GCW really had that new school ECW vibe. And I think now at this point, it's potentially oversaturated itself a little bit. Yeah. As Cole Radrick firing up right now. He's out here hitting the John Cena moves. He even pumps up the shoes. And now, who's going to be mad at him still in this? Is it going to be R-Truth or is it going to be John Cena? 5-knuckle shuffle from Ratty Daddy out here on a Tony Deppen. Oh, is he about to hit an attitude adjustment? Oh, my God. Man's just literally taking R-Truth's whole shtick. GCW. What's Aaron? All I see is Aaron. I love that. Aaron. You mean Aaron? No, Aaron. Nick, you think Miro got lazy? No, I don't think he got lazy. I think, well, there's, big swanton bomb. But to me, there's a difference between lazy and complacent. I think he got more complacent. And I don't know what it is with what. Every time that it's got to be him and his wife and all of the weird storylines that they get booked in and all of that, I think it gets very interesting. Like I said, it's more to me complacent, not lazy, which I know is a little splitting hairs there, but just let me have that one. Thoughts on the Judgment Day from WWE? I think the best faction on Monday Night Raw is Charles Mason. Trying to go for the 3 count, but he's not an illegal man, but he's grabbing the referee here. Tries to chokeslam her, and she ref Aubrey's. She's going to hit a stunner. Like I said, I didn't know Redhead Aubrey Edwards was out here refereeing for GCW here, but when you make it a surprise thing and you do it out of the fucking blue, it fits more versus when you got Dawn Stevens out there that's got to get herself over in every match more than the people wanted here. Oh, she even had the Steve Weisers. Now Tony Deppen's opening them up. Oh, those were some foamy bastards here. Tope con Steve Weiser on everybody on the outside here from Tony Deppen. So all chaos is broken loose out here. We're just shotgunning beers out here as man's about to come off the top rope. And all of 2 people caught him. Man still landed on his damn near feet. Now we've just become the Tope show here. Is Kerry Morton in the ring over here trying to go for a Tope. C-Money respectfully warn a motherfucker when you're going to say something like that. Because, yeah, still on YouTube, so still can't fully say some stuff like that at times. Respectfully. Jacob's agreeing with me. Get well, Rin, Yamashita. She was with. And what happened to Yamashita? She's honestly one of my favorite independent wrestlers out there. So what happened? I'll have to look that up. Phony bastards is what they use to call people who work at the phone companies. Fair enough. Where did we come from there? Have we reached the tipping point? Have we reached the point of saturation? I feel here. Y'all just seem to be on some other stuff here.
Speaking of on some other stuff.
There you go.
How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'm getting learned about phony bastards, and we're talking about GCW officials and everything like that.
There we go.
Doomsday device from Los Macizos.
Los Macizos, one of my favorite teams to call.
Right. Is Cole Radrick going to be the fucking star of this match? Because so far he kind of has been. Mans is going to get the win. Oh!
Flatliner!
Man just went fucking flopping like a goddamn fish. Heat Seeker there from Ali. Tony Deppen just snotted in Ali Katz's face, and that was an offensive maneuver, folks.
That's grounds for death.
Right, yeah.
Big Michinoku driver, though.
Respect for that. I know you're a big fan of Ali, but I mean, the straps are kind of halfway coming off here right now, a little bit.
Yeah. Ali's Ali.
Yeah. Well, no, I just meant literally the straps are coming off. They're falling off, sir.
Yeah, no, I see that. Yeah. And remember, she had a pretty good rivalry with Chris Mason.
Charles.
Fucking hell.
Not his cousin Chris, but
not his cousin Chris.
Yeah.
Charlie Mason.
Oh, he just saved that man's life by catching him there.
This is like a 10-person tag, right? Like a 20-person tag, sorry? Or
10-person tag, 5-on-5.
Oh, it's 5-on-5? It felt like there was 34 people here.
That's because it's just everybody hits your shit.
A fucking huge paralyzer. Who is that? Oh, it's Pero.
So we just had that goddamn Tranquilo spot there from Cole Radrick, or at least I got it.
Yeah.
Backslide 1, 2. Cole Radrick! Cole gets the win!
Ratty Daddy with the W! And you called him something else. Big win.
I still stand by that. I said it earlier while you want to pause. I still stand by my statement a little bit of that. If James Ellsworth and Bob Backlund at least maybe had a distant cousin, their name is Cole Radrick. But no, much love for the Ratty Daddy. Like I said, Mans was the star of that match.
He can go. A little scrappy guy, man. He can go, and he picks up the W for his team with a nice backslide.
Right. Speaking of backslides.
Let your backbone slide. Unbroken, welcome back. We are currently watching the Jersey J-Cup. So it's GCW JCW in the Jersey J-Cup. We're just getting ready for the main event coming up. So I believe that shall be next. I hope it's next. What? Oh, Skittle. That was crazy. Yeah, I mean, again, action-packed match. Charles Mason looking dejected after taking the loss. And yeah, I mean, again, a very heavily booked match. Oh, Pharaoh's got his hands on Cole. Cole's not done yet. Oh, is Charles Mason's getting a little bit of revenge here? No, sir. We cover more wrestling than everybody else. There's a limit to how many screens we have. We already did Collision tonight. We chose GCW because as much as the Netflix documentary wants to make everyone think that it's like WWE, AEW, OVW, it's not true. And generally, yeah, I mean, we'll see what OVW does moving forward if we pay attention to it. But yeah, no, GCW won out on this particular event. So yeah, no OVW. There's only so much we could do, my guy. I don't know where Ezekiel Jackson is, to be honest with you. What's the main event? The main event is going to be Masha Slamovich taking on Jordan Oliver for the championship, the Jersey J-Cup. The Jordan Oliver won this event last year and is technically the JCW champion, and he will be putting his title on the line, his crown on the line against Masha Slamovich. Well, we get a Blake Christian Open challenge. Speaking of Ring of Honor and AEW, a guy that could use some love for that from that company, Blake Christian, your GCW champion, is putting out an open challenge right now, guys. So just when you thought we were almost heading towards the door, we got more to go. So be a friend, tell a friend. And if you know anybody that likes wrestling, send them our link right now. Let's see if we can get 50 people here in the wee hours of the morning for independent wrestling. Collision is screwed next week due to the NBA. Yeah, does anyone out there know if the show is canceled or is it going to be on Friday? Is it going to be moved? I'm really curious. Does anybody know what's happening with Collision? BCC and CMLL battle heats up, says Tony Khan, artist. Oh, okay. Well, based on what we saw tonight, that rivalry is dead. Like, what more can you do with that rivalry? And FTR came out to fight BCC right after the match, so it feels like they've transitioned away. Yeah, there you go, Damien. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, one of my absolute favorite independent wrestlers out there, Rena. She's outstanding. She was the champion at one point. Yeah, I want to see more of her. I'd like to see her back in the mix. But big shout out to her, big fan. But Blake Christian coming out to the ring. This old wrestler, Billy Jack Haynes, is sad. You think I have no idea if it was CET related. I really don't. I don't know the full story. I know kind of the Cole's Notes version of what happened. Very sad story, unbroken. And I have no idea if it was CTE or substances or what. I don't know what the underlying cause for the situation is. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. They announced Collision will be back in 2 weeks. So they're not even preempting it. Because often, Anthony, they would take Collision and move it to like a Friday, at 5, or they would put it somewhere else. So very intriguing that they're just going to outright not do it. That could be because the All-Star festivities go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't know what the actual. I know why they're moving it from Saturday. So yeah, we will be here live next Saturday for anyone still listening. We will be here live for Wrestling Revolver. What? Sorry, 1 second. I'm being distracted here as I'm trying to figure out who is accepting this challenge. But yeah, no, we will be here for Wrestling Revolver next weekend. And a very stacked show if you guys are a fan. But a Homicide is here. Good old LAX alum is in the building to challenge Blake Christian tonight. I didn't expect that either. 2019 Dynamite, colorful vibes with lights in the crowd. A little bit of bubbly. 2024 Dynamite feels like a house show. Yes, if you have been a fan of AEW for the long haul, if you've been a fan of AEW from the beginning, you remember the shows where the house was full and it was bright and it was lit and the place was losing its mind and everybody had t-shirts and everybody had signs and everybody was screaming and yelling. And I think that's my fear or my worry about, I've watched every minute of that show and I see where it's at right now. And then to tell me it's at the best place it's ever been, to me, is going against what I'm observing. And let's ignore about the booking, ignore the storylines, ignore all of that. Let's say they are cooking, by some people's standards, but based on their fan base, what we can see with our own two eyes, as far as not being able to put asses in seats, as far as not having great ratings. I mean, everyone's talking about how good Dynamite was on Wednesday, 808,000 people watching as your rating is not a good number. It's not solid. And people say the ratings aren't, it is what it is, guys. That we know up to 3 million people will tune in to watch wrestling when it cooks. And we know that, at times brands like NXT have had 1 million people tune in. AEW, if everyone, will say to us, they're only 5 years old. Well, I expect them to be doing better in year 5 than they were doing in year 2. And they're not. There's a decline. There seems to be less interest in AEW. Again, Tony Khan and the hardcore fan base, very much so. But I think there's a waning interest. And that is the problem. And when you start losing parts of your main core fan base, you got a problem. Homicide is here. Yes, he is, Damien. And I might be glitching a little on your end. Y'all can let me know. Yeah, Homicide's an OG legend. And Homicide can go. He again, guy's been around for a long, long time, had a successful career. Kind of an indie king at this point. But yeah. And this match is off and running, folks. If you guys want to give me a prediction on whether you think Homicide might win or Blake Christian, my money's on Blake, as much as I like Homicide. I watched AEW since it first started back in 2019, or any other year did AEW start, or yeah, you're pretty good with that. Congratulations for Sonya Deville. She just got married. Hey, congrats to Sonya. I'm looking forward to seeing Sonya make her way back into wrestling. I was a fan of Sonya Deville, so yeah, it'd be nice to see her get back. Cornette used to like AEW. So here's the funny thing. I started doing this, what I do here now with you guys and with Big Nick and Anthony. I started a channel. I started an Instagram. Because I wanted to vote. I wanted to stand up for AEW. Believe it or not, guys. I used to listen to Cornette. I would listen to Jericho's podcast. I listened to as much content as I could. But I was a diehard AEW fan. I really I drank the Kool-Aid, and I had kind of given up on WWE. It was boring. It was stop and start booking. Nobody I liked it was getting any love, and it just was stale as fuck. Then this Tony Khan, this curly-headed, insane person with a ton of money showed up and said he was going to give it a try. And you saw Jericho, you saw the Young Bucks, you saw Kenny, and I was like, all right, let's get into this. And in the beginning, Cornette had some good things to say, and he was right. This is a chance for somebody to really change the game, change the narrative. And unfortunately, the more Cornette started criticizing it for the things that he didn't like, I'd get really mad because I would watch an AEW show or a pay-per-view and I thought that was really good. And then I'd listen to a Cornette just cut it down and cut it down. And I wanted to kind of have a platform where I could defend that. And here I am 3 years later, and literally I sound very much like Cornette on a lot of days, where I'm really struggling with what they're providing. And when I listen to a Cornette, when I listen to a Bischoff, I happen to agree with a lot of what they're saying. And that, to me, will show you, I went from a diehard AEW fan, buying the merch, wanting to go to the shows, to a guy that sits here on YouTube now on a weekly and finds a lot of flaws in what they're doing. And people will tell me it's because I hate AEW or I don't get it. But at the end of the day, I get it. I've watched every minute, and I know where it was. I know where the buzz was. I know how everybody was taking it. And now I see where it is, and I'm getting all these spot matches. I'm not emotionally invested anymore. The storylines have lacked. It's waned so bad. And it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. Yeah, the homicide right now is literally using someone's jacket. Oh, working. When Kenny Omega, CM Punk, Danielson, Jericho, Cody, MJF, Moxley were all tweaking, that's when AEW felt like its own promotion. Yeah, I'll never forget. Like I was covering, I was covering a live pay-per-view on YouTube in a previous incarnation, and the night Danielson and Adam Cole showed up, and I remember exploding. I remember covering, the first dance or live, CM Punk's big return. I remember sitting there with goosebumps and chills watching, and here we are for a Rampage, and it blows up. Speaking of giving me chills.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of blowing up, but
there you go.
Yeah. In a different incarnation there. Are you the Pharaoh there from AEW past there?
Right. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I remember those moments, Nick, that were like CM Punk returning. And Tony Khan brought CM Punk back to wrestling. It was a miracle, and it was a big night. I remember, just it took up half an hour of the show, but it was beautiful, and it was this amazing moment. And like I said, the Adam Cole showing up, Danielson showing up. I remember Moxley's first night in AEW, and it shocked everybody, where he there beats up Kenny Omega, and we were like, this is cool.
Tony Khan had a good year and a half, 2 years of already pre-booked AEW, and now he's just trying to actually have to write it on the fly, and it's not working.
Yeah,
you've seen the fucking flower grow, bloom, and now wither. Yeah,
that's what it is, right? Like, that's why spending so much money on roses is a hard bet, because they're going to be a shriveled fucking weed in the corner in about a week.
Facts.
But that's the tough part. And like I said, you and I have been accused of, what do you guys hate on AEW? And it's like, no, we've been like, AEW, kind of reinvigorated my love for wrestling, because it was new and it was hip and it was cool and it was different. And then
what's so, sorry to cut you off there, but what's so interesting, especially when it comes to AEW, is that they seem to be the one fan base, whether it be TNA, GCW, WWE even, they're the one fan base that you can't say anything negative about the product without you instantly hate it. No, how about you can critique things? I cannot love the fucking same food that you like, or what have you, or think that maybe the chef kind of isn't cooking this the great way.
Yeah, you burnt my toe.
The movie is, more of a B or a C instead of it's an A+ because you're a big fan of the fucking director here. AEW seems to be this one company that stands without criticism. If you criticize it, you hate it. There is no, you could just want to see it do better.
Well, and and to a greater extent, I mean, you don't even have to dislike the show. You can dislike a segment, and people are like, you hate everything, and you're like, I just spent 2 hours talking about how good it was, except this, and they're like, oh, you hate her. You're like, no, just be real.
Right. Well, speaking of something that's not real, Tony Hayes, I hope that your profile picture is not real. But he's saying, we all wish AEW the best in the beginning, and now we have this.
Mm-hmm.
You've watched it fully blossom, fully bloom, and now you're seeing it wither.
Yeah, TK running out of ex-WWE people with the surprise pop. The surprise pops drying up is a big factor in this, because there was a lot of nights that the show was okay. It was a pretty good show, but we got a big surprise pop, so everybody kind of forgot about the flaws. Oh my God, there's so-and-so. But now you're out of the surprise pops, right? Like, I mean, we were getting Sasha. It's not really a surprise.
Well, I was going to say, you're not only out of the big surprise, pops, you're out of the big announcements and everything. AEW is the goddamn Chuck E. Cheese of pro wrestling.
That's a good way to put it.
It's the fucking what is it? Freddy Fazbender's or whatever, the fucking Freddy's Playhouse, whatever the goddamn thing is from
Right.
Five Nights at Freddy's. It's instead
Pee-wee's
of that,
Playhouse?
it's 3 shows at cons.
3 shows at cons. I love that. But we got both men. Homicide answering a Blake Christian open challenge, Nick. And he's about to take Homicide for
Big
a ride.
L. 1, 2. 2 count, 2 count, 2 count.
Right back up to the top. This is the Blake Christian they need in Ring of Honor. This is the Blake Christian they could use on AEW programming.
This is a Blake Christian that needs to be in your TNT division, your international division. Blake Christian, this Blake Christian versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm down.
That's that again. This is why we get so frustrated and why people, oh, you just hate on it. No, it's because we can see all the pieces that you have. It's like being in it's like being a chef in a fucking restaurant, and you see all the goddamn ingredients you have to cook up a fire dish, and instead you want to just cook me some fucking bullshit. You want to make, some fucking tuna casserole bullshit.
I've said it for a long time. He has all the ingredients for the most beautiful recipe, and he just overcooks it or undercooks it or puts them in it, mixes the ingredients at the wrong time, like tonight's show. It's just, he's got all we see it. It's like being on Hell's Kitchen. You ever see an episode of Hell's Kitchen where like they got all the vegetables there and the guy's like, I'm going to use dry lentils. And you're like, wait, what? Like,
yes, we're the Gordon Ramsay of pro wrestling out here. We just want them to be good.
My hero.
We're just trying to help you, but you don't want to listen to us.
Right?
We're actually yelling at Tony Khan. It's not wrong.
Right? You don't gay.
What am I? An idiot sandwich.
But that's it. Like, I mean, that's what I think frustrates me the most is when you hear an MJF go, man, we have one of the best locker rooms, like rosters in wrestling history. Oh, Homicide throwing the ref into Blake. And you look at it and go, fuck, you guys have a lot of talent. It's just underutilized. The wrong guys are overutilized. It's unfortunate. It really is.
We have the safest place. We have, the greatest roster out there. We have the greatest booking. Everything's great. Why the fuck you lying? Why you always lying? And I like this stuff from Keyshawn. TK probably loves tuna casserole. He does look like a motherfucker. I would like that.
Yeah,
he likes raisins and potato salad.
Yeah, it's like fucking he had ahi tuna and made tuna casserole.
Literally, you took some Wagyu beef and made fucking like some goddamn beef stroganoff.
Yeah, some hamburger helper up here.
Hamburger helper with Wagyu beef.
Oh, that's funny. I could see Blake Christian in WWE one day. WWE is very interested when his contract is NXT. I mean, a good stop for him.
Oh yeah, 100%. Think about it again. You add him still into that fold of guys that are still there, like Ilya, Braun's kind of still there.
Yeah.
Trick, Carmelo. It's a murderer's row. Now, granted, a lot of smaller guys, respectfully.
Yep.
But still, Braun's probably your biggest guy. Stature over there.
There it is. The win.
Blake picks up the win.
Mr. Cornette, KJ, you are the father. Oh, fuck. Wouldn't it be the other way around?
Yeah, literally, respectfully.
Right? Mr. Cornette, yeah, you are the son. I was a chef once.
Brian Last never told you about your father.
I mean, they did do some Canadian tours.
Oh boy.
Tony better not drop the ball. Listen, this will be a big one because if you're going to book out TD Garden and you're going to sell, they already apparently sold 4,000 pre-sale tickets. Is she more than just the one event pop? Or are you going to turn her into money, and are you going to book her in a way that moves the needle and sells more tickets? This will be a very big test for Tony Khan.
and I want it to be a win for them. But
yeah, me too.
Your track record precedes you. But again, this should be realistically, if you're a pro wrestling fan, fuck the company lines and everything like that. If you're a pro wrestling fan, you want this to be the biggest win for them because it should be, because then it just means nothing but good things.
Yeah. But if she's on fucking Rampage fighting Red Velvet, we're gonna have an issue.
Don't worry, give it a week or two.
But I really want it to go well. I mean, if they're signing Okada, Camille, like apparently every free agent, according to Meltzer, is going to AEW in the next 6 months. So, but it will also be who can he keep in the fold? Who will he lose? Who will he? You know, I mean, it's going to be interesting times.
So sorry, we're getting the whole breakdown for
The collective.
GCW, the collective, from April 4th to the 6th. Of we're getting Defy Wrestling. Josh Barnett's Bloodsport is one that I'm interested in. Because you're getting like Lady Frost in there, Masha. You're getting an actual
last year
women's tournament or women's bracket there.
Yes. 2 years ago, it was outstanding. Last year sucked. So Josh has some work to do.
Facts.
I like it, man. I think it's wrestling evolved when they do it right.
Oh, absolutely here. But Tony's saying a new class of NXT would be Blake Christian, Jordan Oliver, Myra Reed, and that's an amazing class right there as it is.
Nick Wayne would be in that mix. That's where we say like Tony could really be doing cool things with Ring of Honor. Instead of getting Christopher Daniels and fucking Matt Seidel, he could really turn Ring of Honor to something cool.
Right. Yeah. Well, and even a Tony Deppen, who was in the other match that we were watching there. But like you mentioned this match a while ago in the stream and everything of when we had last night on Rampage, you had Sin Cara versus Evan Bourne.
Yeah.
That's realistically where we are at when it comes to Tony Khan booking outside of like your main 2 to 3 storylines that he feels are relevant.
Yeah.
So we're really out there in the abyss here with talent that you could use much better.
Yeah, and I mean, I see the potential. It's right there, bro. It is right there. And again, I think when AEW started and they were going to be like the anti-WWE establishment, and you understood why Jericho was there. You understood like Moxie felt anti-WWE when he left and found AEW. And now it just, you know, and then you sign every fucking AEW, and all these AEW fans that hate WWE are thrilled for everyone they sign from WWE.
Well, Jericho was there, and I get 100%. I agree with you.
It was perfect.
Yeah. Well, Jericho's there still as well. He's a name that people still might remember from WWE, etc.
Yeah.
Same thing with Moxley. You also mentioned.
Yeah.
Has their candle been burnt so brightly, I guess, or so fast, through AEW that they really don't hold as much water as you would think they do, as far as your casual viewers of remembering a guy like, oh, well, Chris Jericho. Well, no, he's so now far removed from WWE that he isn't still the same draw that he was, regardless of how he's already been booked.
When he first went over there, it gave them validity. It gave them this isn't just another rinky-dink wrestling company. They're bringing in name value. Moxley, to me, Moxley and Jericho both, I think, let the AEW freedom and the AEW situation go to their heads. So they are so far removed from, like, it's the same thing kind of where like the WWE is not completely stupid, even in those times of, we'll be okay without a Moxley. We'll be okay without Jericho. We'll be okay without Adam Copeland. You know what I mean? They're not losing Braun Breaker. You know what I mean? Like that guy on his way up. They're losing people that they've gotten all they can out of these guys.
Well, and it's perfect that you mentioned Braun Breaker because WWE has that wealth of riches of young talent. Like on the prospects list that they have, if you just go prospect versus prospect, you initially could have made the case AEW had the better prospects, but they've
Yeah.
been so booked, so lost, so
Yeah.
forgotten about that you've taken everything that was moving and had any bit of momentum for them and just froze it. Versus now we're almost having to shut down NXT shows because Carmelo Hayes has so much heat because of them chanting "Q Mello."
Yeah, there was definitely a time where, you know, especially when Vince fucked up NXT and made it the Rainbow brand, like AEW's cooking and WWE's not doing anything correct. Technically, kind of, depending on who you ask, get pushed off of the Wednesday Night Wars, move back to Tuesdays. But you look at the talent, you know, you had, and they still have them, but like at the time, MJF, Wardlow, Hobbs, you know, talent that we weren't really familiar with that they could have really built the company around. And to an extent, they did that with MJF, but they dropped the ball with so many up and comers. And then
Hobbs, Wardlow, like
yeah,
you started to name people.
yeah. So when you run into those problems, like that became the downfall of instead of just bringing a core group of guys together and booking them in such a way that now 5 years in, everyone's emotionally invested with these particular characters. We're not.
Can we all just admit, and piggybacking off that, of that AEW had the most hyped and like you were saying there, of that literally had the most potential for a rookie class, and it became the biggest bust of a rookie class because of booking.
Yeah, they're all like it felt like the, you know, like the high school the national champions that all went on to college and failed. Like that's what it felt like.
But it's almost feels like though it's not because you just couldn't hang there. It's more of just because your fucking coaching staff fucking put you in a position to fail.
Yeah, and I think that, I mean, even in the beginning where when you have Cody Rhodes and then he kind of gets pushed out, and you know, I hate to pick on Kenny because he's part of the group, but you know, they were more interested in doing like we're gonna dress up like the Ghostbusters and everyone's gonna think it's cool. And it just didn't work out. And then you had all the bullshit. Like the Bucks to me are one of the biggest downfalls of AEW is they are milking Tony for every dollar, and you bring in FTR and you have this money match on a platter, and they're, you know, they ran away, they tucked tail and ran instead of business winning. Even when you brought in Punk and you could have done big business, egos got bruised.
Well, and again, I know it's cliche and everything, but to me, the biggest thing and the biggest statement, the biggest detriment for AEW, it has been pretty much damn near since it's been founded. It's been all ego wrestling instead of all elite wrestling.
Right.
It's been a constant joke with them. It doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah, imagine like, especially in the beginning, you imagine like when Eddie Kingston got hot, if they would have pushed him to the moon instead of tagging him to Jericho. You know, when Ricky Starks got hot, to push him to the moon instead of tagging him to Jericho. MJF, thank God MJF is a generational talent who went through a year and change, which a year. He had to go, what, 13, 14 months with Jericho.
He had to be out there. I like to sing about the sun and the moon and the spring. Right. Hello, my honey. Hello, my baby. Hello, my ragtime gal.
But instead of a guy like Jericho working in a way that was building up this young talent to build this really flourishing company, Jericho used them to feed his ego and stymied the growth of the company. The Bucks did the same thing. The exception to that is, I think, Kenny. You put Kenny in the ring and he gave us good shit. Kenny's just not a great promo. And he's got bad friends.
Not at all. Yeah. As by the way, we're about to kick off here with Masha versus Jordan Oliver for the finals of the Jersey J-Cup here.
Yeah. So who's taking it, folks? If you're still watching us, who is taking? And I saw someone mention the fact that this is intergender. It was AJ. There is no gender. There is no divisions. You are
welcome to JCW because GCW most of the time, like still, what was it? It was either 2023 or 2022. One of my favorite matches that whole year was Mance versus Yamashita in a death match.
Oh no, but remember Alex Colon versus
Alex Colon, that's what it was. Thank you. Sorry.
I knew exactly what reference you were going to make, and I agree with you. Like that cooked. But there is no women's title. There is no women's division. It is just the wrestlers, and that's what Yamashita's been champion. Mash has been champion. know who's awesome is
Is
Sawyer.
waiting.
Sorry.
Oh, Sawyer Rack?
Yeah,
Oh
like
yeah, no,
Sawyer's been in. She a big lady.
she's tall giraffe looking mommy out there.
She kicks people's heads in. But yeah, there is no, and I mean, again, the women that I've heard be interviewed and asked about it love it. So
Well, it's a validation mark, and like I said, we did our whole talks about the PWI and everything, and I championed Masha because
yep.
she was GCW Women or GCW World Heavyweight Champion for a good portion of that year. She was initially on the initial PWI 150. She was number 15. She was the only female mentioned on the list.
Yeah.
But she got ranked lower on the women's list than she did on the entire male, women, female, any of that. Like all the wrestlers. I'm like, how does that make sense?
Yeah, it's a little perplexing.
Yeah.
But that's why we got to be careful what we read. I think we will see Sammy Guevara break up. I don't wish that on him at all. But look, Sammy Guevara is a guy that gets pushed a lot. Tony loves him. We saw the pictures of Tony at his wedding. We saw Tony dress up like Orange Cassidy for Halloween. And these are the guys that Tony pushes. The people that hang out with him, the people that party with him. And it hurt your company.
Imagine if Sammy Guevara had went through NXT and everything like that, and instead he's out there involved in the Escobar, LWO kind of feud and everything like that. Or he's out there, he could be in a situation with Andrade and he can punch him in the face in the ring instead of backstage trying to get fired and stuff like that. Like, again, I still say AEW had one of the best rookie classes that you could build a company on and became one of the biggest busts, not because of the talent, but because of the booking and the situations that they were put in.
Well, even a guy like Darby was real hot. And I would argue that Darby, you look at 5 years where this guy should be on an upward trajectory. I feel like for a year now, and I'm not blaming Sting, but like outside of that 4 pillars match, Darby hasn't had much to do. He is he's Sting's little sidekick.
Oh, 100%. He's in just, promo purgatory out there.
Yeah, a little bit. By the way, we're off and running on this match, guys. Tony Khan is truly the Jerry Jones of AEW. As long as he has all the front office titles, he has all the front off. He has to be front and center on everything from press conferences and announcements. Just won't succeed. And this is another very good point is we talk about Triple H does a media scrum, and I know people are mad at him about the last one, but he does his 5 minutes, he leaves. And it's all about the wrestlers. Tony's sitting there next to the wrestler. Why? This isn't your show. This isn't your moment. This isn't your spotlight. Let the wrestlers shine. Get the fuck off stage. And the same thing with these big announcements. What we got on Wednesday was a fucking press release. But you got to be out there. Imagine if we got videos of fucking Triple H out there doing the fucking Danny Garcia dance. Like, are you getting, like, it's not about you, Tony, but it's his money. So what can I say?
It's his money, and it's still, I can still see him being out there, but like how Triple H comes out at the end of the entire press conference and all of that. After everybody else has had their time, had their moment, had their, voices heard and everything.
Yeah.
He's still just a fan.
Yeah, and well, like in the weird hugs and shit, it's not cool.
It's not even, to me, it's not even exactly even just that. It's the way you present yourself, like online, like the Twitter shit you're responding to fucking accounts that have like 10 followers and everything. It's just the whole presentation. It's the whole way you carry yourself. And that's really what it comes down to, of just, even though Triple H is not the owner, not the president, not anything like that with WWE, he carries himself much better than Tony Khan does. Nick Khan carries himself. Fucking Scott D'Amore carried himself better than Tony Khan.
Like an adult professional.
Act like you've been there before, motherfucker.
Yeah, an adult professional businessman. By the way, Jordan Oliver just pancaked Masha on the chairs in the crowd, and then absolutely kicked her in the face, I think. Kick to the stomach. Thank you, AJ.
Kick to the baby maker. What?
Jacob wants to know if you were enjoying this match so far.
I am. Are you, sir? I guess
I am.
You weren't asked.
Good start to this match. It looked really rough.
Oh, kind of a bulldog into all the random chairs there at ringside with names, but nobody sitting on them. What?
Yeah, everybody jumped.
Can one of us win the lottery so we can start our own promotion? We can do better. And
man, Nick.
I have 2 points on this. Well, go ahead, because I'm
go make your 2 points. I was just kind of like, if only.
Well, again, if only, and again, Tony, our socials and everything are links in the video, link in the description, links on the channel, scrolling down beneath you there. If you need a friend, we'll help you out here. But I think Tony, on one hand, with this, much like comparable to Billy Corgan with the NWA, of you're ruining it for other people who could do it because you look so incompetent that no one else is going to take that gamble on it because, well, the last guy fucked up, so why would I invest into you?
Oh, great. Another wrestling company.
Another guy who thinks he can do wrestling and has got his daddy's money.
Mm-hmm.
How long till you're out there? We've signed a TV deal and you've got some old fucking washed up wrestling manager out there snorting the white powder like fucking goddamn Walter White.
Yeah.
That is going to cost us our fucking TV deal and this, that, and the third.
Oh, no, it's true. And dude, honestly, like, I mean, once upon a time, there was a contingent of people that I was happy to be associated with. We're doing shitty rec room fucking wrestling with, we had our cameras and our commentators and our entrances and everything was fucking honky-dory. And I'm convinced there was more compelling storylines in that shitty, fucked up, half in the bag wrestling situation than what Tony is coming up with.
Again, Tony Khan, if you want to reach out, if you need some help, be a friend, tell a friend. We say it all the time. All of our socials are running right through there.
Now we're cooking. Yeah, no, for sure. Match off to a good start, folks. And Jordan's got more of a heel edge than I'm used to from Jordan.
Well, he's grown. He's established himself since the last time we saw him in the Jersey Cup, to where when he won it last year, he was very much one of those guys that would be, like we've talked about, was a breakout guy. Now he's got a year plus in the game added on. He's much more slotting into independent Carmelo Hayes, I would say that a little bit.
And it looks like he's put on some size, to be honest with you, my friend. Not a lot, but
bulked up a tiny bit.
He's maturing right before our very own eyes.
He's going into his body.
Nice
and
move.
A guy that can move like that with that size, a guy that can grow into his body like that, works really well.
Triple H gets Scott D'Amore. I want Scott D'Amore. He was trying to buy TNA. I want him to buy NWA and save it. Save it.
Sorry. You want to go first on this? Do you want me to? As he made another comment, I don't want
to. I don't even have to. Gravity, just hit rewind. We've already addressed people like you.
Right. Seriously. You guys are so negative all the time. Tony is living rent-free in your heads. No, we're trying to help him be better.
Fucking hell.
Literally, we weren't excited for tonight.
Get the fuck out of here. We already touched on this. And again, it's almost a wasted breath on certain people. But yeah, no, Gravity, I'm sorry to break your heart, buddy. But yeah, I mean, you want to say, no, Tony's living in my head the same way Triple H is, the same way Scott D'Amore is, the same way fucking Bill Corgan is. Yeah, I'm a wrestling fan, and again, all you got to do is hit rewind and hear our response to your thought. But come on now, we're not negative, we're real.
Fair enough. As I like how it's instantly followed up with why. And then Jacob saying, I'll give you guys props because I'm loving the stream already. You guys are awesome. So, head gravity. Why don't you fall back down to earth, my guy? Yeah.
I refuse.
Sometimes not everyone's gonna kiss you on your fucking ass. Respectfully.
Wow. Boston Crab into a roll up. Sorry, Nick. Roll up.
You're
Roll
good.
up.
I was like, are you gonna segue this into kissing asses here or what?
No, I'm just gonna like act like, hey, we got good wrestling going on right now.
Oh yeah. Hey, and guess what? It's not WWE, and it's also not named AEW.
There you go. Oh my God.
Two out is what I got.
Wow. Off the top turnbuckle, forward facing Razor's Edge.
Yeah, again, super unique move. But we talked about this, and I remember it was around this time last year, and we were talking again about guys like Nick Wayne, Jordan Oliver, Blake Christian, Tony Deppen, of how GCW had this super young crop of guys that were going to really break out because they weren't what you, when you watch a GCW show, you expect, you know, your blood, guts, and gore, much like ECW, versus with a lot of these guys, you just had really good wrestling.
Yeah. And again, they still do have, yeah. And I mean, we just talked about Ratty, right? Like he's a young man, like we got a list and they're all kind of growing up together, which is kind of fun to watch.
Absolutely. They, respectfully, GCW probably has the best rookie class out of 2023 out of anybody in pro wrestling.
Yeah, I mean the hardest part for GCW is not watching all your talent move on, but they've done a good job, especially with companies like TNA and AEW, of having people move in and out.
Well, the hardest thing with GCW is knowing that when you develop a good talent, they're going to leave. You're like the Oakland A's of pro wrestling.
ECW.
The second what?
ECW.
Absolutely. Again, yeah. The second you develop a big talent, you know that they're going elsewhere once they get, you know, reach free agency, because they're gonna still chase. You can't blame them for taking the payday because it's warranted.
Big rope break match to get into the ropes on the Boston Crab. And yes, I'm just assuming, AJ, that you're talking about us. Thank you.
Yes.
Finishers don't exist anymore. You and I actually put out a video clip of us talking about protecting finishers, and it drives me. You have secondary and third finishers for a reason, and it breaks my heart that finishers aren't protected at all. Even by the wrestlers, even like a Cody Rhodes will hit 3 crossroads.
Yeah, again, like it comes back to, I know I've talked about joking with like it just being a Madden simulation and shit, but it's gonna be a fucking WWE 2K simulation out here. You got to have your signature moves. You got to make sure you hit triangle and hit square or whatever, circle or whatever to hit your finisher, that type of shit. Because you got to hit it like 17 times before you can even get a 2 count in a goddamn match.
And then
the Kata Hajime, the Coquina clutch, and she's got the fucking body lock locked in too. Does Masha
take it?
Jordan rolls through. 2 count.
Tap.
Double clothesline, and neither person goes down again.
Wow. 5 finishes, right? Fact. Right? We saw it the other night where see, we pick on all the company. Yeah, too much. Like Hangman hitting 2 buckshots. Well, if your finisher, your finisher.
Yeah, how many crossroads, like you said, how many crossroads, how many spears, how many, you know, Superman punches need to get hit in a match?
Too many. This is awesome. You know what, Damien? You got a point. Well, again, it's hard to put GCW on a consistent TV channel because what they do sometimes.
Again, it'd be like, you know, when ECW was on TNN.
Yeah, right. But I think having a weekly show would actually help them, because right now they're running like 4 or 5 shows a week, and it's actually watered down the product a little bit.
Oh yeah, how many shows that they run now, and we've both mentioned this multiple times. How many shows that they run,
yeah,
has hindered them more than helped them. If they had still kind of your monthly pay-per-view show, and maybe you do a weekly thing or whatever, or even if it's like a highlight reel type thing on YouTube, and you do that once a week, I think that's better than running 14 shows in a 3-day weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, you just end up seeing, like, you and I have watched so much GCW, we end up seeing the same people all the time, and it's like, yeah, I really like you.
Yeah. Well, big boot from Jordan. Oh, Shining Wizard from Masha.
Oh, she's so good, man. So fucking good.
1, 2. If we're gonna fantasy Forbidden Door, give me Masha Slamovich versus Mommy, and tell me that isn't the alpha and the omega of women's pro wrestling right now.
I'm in for that. I mean, we've had Masha, Jordan Grace. I would be totally down for a Masha, Rhea Ripley showdown. I mean, she is a monster. She's nails, man.
Well, and they both valid, like, have credibility going against male competitors. They both literally looked like they would beat the fucking partisan leather out of you.
Right.
100%.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting Mosh out here hitting Kata Hajames out here choking out men.
Good night, driver. Those. We are watching GCW Jersey J-Cup right now. Tony Hayes on Triller, which was formerly Fight.
Because there's a Triller in the night.
I like this. What is Nick Jackson's finisher? Yeah. You know what the saddest
part is?
Valid.
I was like, a super kick party.
But it's like, for all the big moves they hit, their finisher sucks. Like, that V trigger shit is like the BTE trigger is horrible.
Yeah, it's just, again, Kata Hajime.
Going for the win, man. Like, damn.
Go get her.
He's done. No, he's not done.
He's fired up. He's gonna hit a back body drop with her on there.
No way.
Oh, Jesus! That suplex. And she rolls right back into it.
Yeah, she's taking it.
He's out. He's out. Yes. He's out. Masha wins. Masha wins.
Done. She's taking it.
Masha.
She an anaconda. She don't want none. Yeah, huge win. Shout out to Masha.
Put some respect on Masha Slamovich's name.
Your 2024 J-Cup winner.
And that was a fucking insane transition of, he got out of it. He's set up for the back body drop. Boom. Suplex, boom, right back into it.
Yeah.
Like you said. And I know you were making the joke of my anaconda dope. My anaconda dope. But the fact that literally she had him just locked in the whole time of you can wriggle and you can fight with it, but you're just getting sunk in deeper and deeper. Pause. Yeah.
It was really well done in the end there, because it was like she had him and then he fought out, and then she had him and he fought out, and she had him. He fought out one more time. You're done. This is mine. She was not going to be stopped, Nick. And Jordan rips the belt away from the referee.
Well, and I like that he's I want to present this to you.
Yeah, fuck Boston. Congratulations, Masha Slamovich. And she gives
Jordan Oliver is a guy that is 100% going to, you give it the next 2 to 3 years, and he's going to be one of those guys that's talked about at the top of cards in pro wrestling.
Well, I think you and I talked about when they made a big deal about Nick Wayne signing with AEW, we were a little surprised that Jordan Oliver kind of got left out.
Yeah.
because Jordan was cooking.
He was their guy. He was shout out. We have our Dutch friends there, the fantasy facts and everything, to where Jordan Oliver's out there wrestling, out in the Deutschland and all of that. But he was the Jersey J-Cup. He was out there. He was the guy. Once you saw Blake Christian, you saw Nick Wade had signed with AEW, and I think even Tony Deppen had as well. Jordan Oliver became the guy that JCW or GCW was really kind of starting to put their behind.
Yeah, no, I mean, and he won last year's J-Cup, again, held on to this year's J-Cup right till the end. And Masha Slamovich taking it, ripping it from his grasp. So what fun end of that show.
Right.
Tomorrow I plan on purchasing a few Red Rider. What? Okay.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
No. That
was a cool win for Masha.
Yeah.
Nick Wayne is Darby's friend. Yeah.
Well,
Nick Wayne's mom has got it going on.
What's up?
What's up?
How you doing?
But so, do we want to take a rating on GCW?
I don't know if enough people actually watched it, but I think like AJ and Damien, if you guys want to quickly throw, there you go. Damien already on it. 8.5. If you actually watch the show and you have an opinion, we'll quickly take a rating, call it last call. We're getting late in the evening. We're about to hit the 4-hour mark, and we are back tomorrow for our Super Bowl party.
Yeah, we got the Superb Owl. We got the Swifties to talk about tomorrow here.
See, I don't know if you're saying owl or bowel, so it throws me off.
Superb Owl.
Like superb bowels. What?
No. Listen, this is not, fucking Motrin or whatever the fuck that shit is. You should
Pepto?
Pepto. Pepto. Yeah. Upset stomach, nausea, heartburn,
right.
Diarrhea. Hey, how you doing?
Hey. Superb owl. There you go. There you go. But yeah, Nick, again, we didn't maybe catch all of the beginning of that. Ended really strong. I'll give it an 8. Why not? 10 out of 10. Said J-Cup. I'm pretty sure he didn't even watch it. Maybe did you, J-Cup? I'm just playing with you. 8.5 says Mark. The semifinals were awesome. I think AJ gave an 8.5 too. So a lot of people feeling it. So that was good.
Because I don't know, because I think I pretty much started from like when Cole got the win. So on one hand, I might be a little biased here.
Right.
I'll just give it like the dash, the NA, non-applicable of does not qualify. Did not watch enough of the show to give an out and outright rating. I think it was a good show, and 100% seeing Jordan Oliver out there, the past winner, and having that transition to Masha, who's become kind of the new figurehead for GCW going forward.
Mm-hmm.
I really liked it. That transition towards the finish was great.
Yeah,
it was good. It's with any GCW show, it's going to have some really great points, and it's going to have some really low points.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think for sure, definitely has its highs and lows. Ultimately, you end the night on a big night. Gotta love Masha. Yeah, congratulations to Masha. Masha's actually shown this channel some love, so it's nice to show her some back. She's lovely, isn't she lovely? But yeah, I mean, big night for them, big night for Masha. She continues to be on the tear. She had an outstanding 2023. Her 2024 is already clicking and rolling. So
right,
let's go. But beyond that, folks, I see the numbers dwindling down. It is bedtime here at the channel. So we thank everyone, especially those who've been here for all 4 hours. It's always a pleasure. Make sure you click all our links below. Be a friend, tell a friend. Anywhere you know that they're talking about wrestling, drop our links. It's the best thing you could do. It's a currency around here. So thank you so much for being a part of this. And go get yourself some merch. Come back tomorrow. The Super Bowl, Super Owl party.
Super Owl
is going to be off the charts. We're going to have a lot of fun, snacks and feel goods all around. So, Nick, another good night, bud guy.
Because, baby, now we got bad blood. But our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about the rest of it, you would put that 4 of life with it.
See you on the flip side, folks. Come back tomorrow. Go Niners.